I got healthy, got wealthy, and even got wise. That sweet Kangen water open up my eyes, satisfying for the body, gratifying for the mind. Kangen water for the rest of my life. Kangen water quenches your thirst. Kangen water feeds your soul. Kangen water inspiring your dreams. Kangen water for the rest of my life. Let's unify with Chi spirit. Kangen water will set you free. Let's unify with Chi spirit. Kangen water will set you free. Let's unify with Chi spirit. Let's follow Mr. O philosophy. Look within 'cause you wanna win. Join the Kangen Nation. Kangen Nation, we're everywhere. All around the world, water we share. Changing one life at a time. With compassion for mankind. Well, I love you so you gotta know. Hope you don't mind me preaching.
Hey, sisters and brothers, I have a new sponsor, my friends Gary and Marilou from alkalinewatersogood.com. They are international Kangen water distributors. Kangen water is delicious water created from Enagic's innovative water technology. Enagic is a 56-year-old Japanese company with 40 offices in 23 countries, including an office in Manila and 8 offices in the U.S., and it is the leading manufacturer of alkaline ionizers and water filtration machines in the world. Not only do these devices filter your tap water, but they also produce ionized alkaline and acidic waters through electrolysis. These waters can be used for various purposes, including drinking, cooking, beauty, and cleaning. Can you imagine never buying bottled water again? The plastic in bottled water often contains BPA and other chemicals which are proven to be hazardous to your health. And how much fun is it lugging cases of it from the market, recycling it, and you know, plastic is an environmental nightmare. According to Gary, it's also a great way to add an additional income stream. He's been selling machines for over 12 years internationally, and everyone needs the healthiest water in the world. So folks, if you have any questions about Kangen water, check out their website at alkalinewatersogood.com. That's alkalinewatersogood.com. Or you can email them at gary@garyballin.com.
You're listening to the Wolf's Den Radio Show. Talk.
Hello, sisters and brothers. Welcome to WGRS Talk, the Wolf's Den Radio Show Talk. It is Easter Sunday. Happy Easter to everybody who celebrates it. Did you get your Easter egg hunt going during this pandemic? I'm not sure if I saw some online, but not really. I think people are still staying away from that stuff. But happy Easter. I hope you guys are having a good Easter Sunday with the family. And if you listen to this and it is already in the past, I hope you had a good Easter Sunday with the family. So, how's everybody doing? Nothing much. Everybody here in California is, I think, eligible to get their vaccine. So every adult, I think 50 and above, I think is the first wave. And then the rest will be next. So if you are in California and you haven't been vaccinated yet, check out the internet. You're always on it, so check out that news. Who are the new eligible people to get the vaccine? And what else? Hashtag Stop Asian Hate. Hashtag Stop Asian Hate Crimes. It's still going on, ladies and gentlemen. I see it here on the news all the time and online. And you got to speak out, man. We got to speak out to our Asian brothers and sisters, even if we... You know what? I'm going to be real. I'm going to keep it 100. You know, Asians don't really care about other Asians. Because we have and I don't want to say that as a negative thing, but in a sense that each Asian country has such a unique culture to each other that we don't really how should I say, we don't really fraternize with each other when we would fraternize with fellow Filipinos. If you're a Filipino or if you're Chinese, you stay with your community. Most of the time, it's like that. Of course, there are exceptions, when you intermingle. But a lot of cultures, they usually stay with each other because of the familiarity. Sorry. And of course the culture, you relate to the same things, or you relate to the same food and whatnot. So that said, even though we don't really, it's hard to say, we don't really care for much about each other when we're in our own countries. But here in America it's different, because Asians are a minority. And especially Asians that are Chinese and Korean and Vietnamese usually, but especially Chinese and Korean, because they have been the longest Asian immigrants of the United States. Of course, Filipinos have been here in the States way before, before even Christopher Columbus, quote unquote, discovered America. So even Filipinos, man, we've been here, man. A lot of Asians have been here to California because California used to be Mexico, and there was obviously trading going on between the Philippines and Mexico. So there was a contingent. You can look this up in Wikipedia. They were a group of Filipinos. They were actually stowaways. They wanted to get the hell out of the Philippines, man. maybe because I think we were still under Spanish rule. Maybe there's like, let's get out of here, man. Let's go to Mexico. It's nothing can be worse than this, So anyway, so they were stowaways, and they landed in Morro Bay in California. And I've been to Morro Bay. There's a campsite there, and a really good event happened there with some friends of mine. We had a huge camp out. You could call it a jamboree of sorts, because there's a lot of people there, a mini jamboree. So it was fun, yeah. So Morro Bay, check that out on Wikipedia, man. Filipinos have been in America, in American land, far more than a lot of Americans have. So, that's a fact. So be proud of it. Anyway, what else? What else is going on, man? Check out some new music, man. The Dead Daisies. They're a really good band. The bassist of Deep Purple, Glenn Hughes, a lead vocals and bass guitar on this one, and man, I love his voice. So check them out, the Dead Daisies. And if you're a vinyl connoisseur, or a vinyl person, whatever, vinyl records, if that's your thing, go check their vinyl record out, their vinyl recording of their album. Gosh, I forget the name right now, God, but it's really nice. The packaging is so good. It's a gatefold style packaging. So it's really trippy. So check them out, the Dead Daisies. All right, moving on. This is episode 20, and it's going to be a really great conversation with an old and good friend of mine, and he was also a DJ, a FM radio DJ back in the day, back in the 80s and 90s, and he was also the lead singer of The Breed, hard rock band The Breed, and he's when you hear this interview, for those of you who don't know him, this is the voice that I was hearing on my radio. He was introducing music that I was like, oh, this is cool. And he had maybe a 20-year career doing that, and he still actually is a rock singer until now. He is planning to, I guess, reunite The Breed. Not reunite, but continue The Breed's legacy, but with new members. So I am talking about Charlie Ysmael, and we had a really, really good conversation. He's a cool dude. He's a great singer. He's a great performer. Man, this guy knows how to rock out. He has the true rock and roll soul. So, ladies and gentlemen, sisters and brothers, boys and girls, and your doggy too, WDRS Talk presents Charlie Y. All right, Charlie Ysmael.
Yes,
Great
sir.
friend. The last time I saw you, I don't remember anymore, man. It was such a long time. Remember?
It must have been 2010, because I remember buying a CD of one of your CDs. Okay. You were still with David.
Locomotive.
Locomotive, yeah. That was 2010. We met at Handlebar. A long time ago, bro.
Wow. Yeah, I remember Handlebar, and I miss. That was a good place to hang out,
Yeah, you bet. Good place to hang out. Good place to play also. Before the lockdown happened, I was trying to get a gig there, but the problem was they had a complaint from the village next door, which was Bel Air. Okay,
right.
They had a complaint, and the local barangay, the local authorities came, and they sent them a message that you have to tone down your bands, your live bands. So they switched to acoustic.
Oh.
They didn't have the electric bands anymore, which was such a bummer, man.
Oh.
Shucks. So that was before the lockdown. I haven't heard about them since the lockdown. No.
And places like those are closed, talaga.
Yeah. Close to Handlebar was Alchemy, which I'm sure you remember, no?
Right.
I would frequent the place because my friends from K.O. Jones, sila Warren Norton and the Borgaili brothers, they used to play there twice a week. So
Right.
we used to go on a Saturday, and they'd make me jam, and that place is closed as well. It's too difficult if you don't have live acts, especially in that area, Poblacion, Makati.
Yeah.
All right, it's too hard to bring in enough revenue to pay the rent, because I'm sure the rent is so high there, diba?
Yeah.
There.
Wow. So what's your latest project? I mean, is it still Spirit of 76?
67. No,
67?
not anymore. Yeah, Spirit of 67. No, not anymore. I left them in June of 2018, which
Okay.
is almost 3 years ago. And as of late, I decided late last year, sometime late October or maybe even early November, that I'm resurrecting the breed, dude.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
There you go. So, we've already recorded many demos, almost 15. One more to go. And then we want to release an album.
Wow. So who is it? Is it Larry on drums?
No, no. I'm the only original left. Okay. On
Oh,
drums is Jay Alviar.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And on bass is Gerard de Dios.
Gerard, yeah.
And our guitarist is Paolo Blaquera. Have you come across him before? Have you played with him?
I don't recognize his name. Is
Okay,
he
Paolo.
young or
Is he
is he
what?
young?
Sorry.
Is he younger?
He's younger. He's about 45, your age, buddy.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm 49.
Okay.
But yeah, same.
Okay, okay.
40s, yeah.
So 45, 46 there. Now
Oh, okay. What's his guitar?
he uses an 8-string guitar, believe it or not.
What?
8 strings, and it's amazing how he comes up with all his licks, man. He's a very very virtuose. He's a virtuoso when it comes to all these licks. No, I mean think Joe Satriani, think Steve Vai,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
Ingvar Malmsteen, but YJM, okay,
Wow.
and he's also very tech savvy. Okay, he's the one who, I mean, we never met. Okay, we have all these demos, but we never met. We were all over the place. Like he was, si Paulo was stuck in the Visayas since lockdown. Okay, and when I decided, na, hey, let's go for this, he said, okay, sure, sure. We just sent each other the files through the internet, online. And
Wow.
we were able to come up with all of this, no? By the way, Paolo used to play he was the last guitarist, if I'm not mistaken, of Pepe Smith before Pepe passed away.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And prior to that, he was also in the retro scene. He played with Mulatto and other bands as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Jay and Gerard, you're pretty familiar with.
Yeah, shit, man. Jay. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's from the past.
Yeah, you bet.
With Gerard, I only met him maybe when Locomotive first. Actually, not even Locomotive. I think it was already Three-Headed Dog when I met
Oh,
Gerard.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
but yeah, he's a heavy bass player, man. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a true rocker, man. So
Oh yes, yes, definitely. I mean, with Geezer Butler as your influence, buddy, how much lighter can you get? You know what I
my
mean?
God. He's like
You
that's so
know?
specific. That's really a specific influence because Geezer Butler is not. He's not. He's not. Yeah, he is in Black Sabbath, but he's not. He's not flashy. So
Yes, exactly.
and he's
Right.
not. He's not a virtuoso either. So you have to be really specific to really have him as an influence. It's like you really like his playing. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I mean, that's what bassists do. I mean, you don't have to be a virtuoso like the guitar player, but
Yeah.
hold the bottom together with the drummer, right?
Yeah.
Once you have that bottom solid, you can do practically anything, man.
Anything you can do anything on
Yeah.
top of it, diba?
Yes, exactly, man. And you know what's funny? I saw an artwork recently, which was passed around in Facebook. Okay, and it showed the artwork actually was confirmed by my friend. Okay, who is a historian, and it says the title of that artwork is 1410. It's when the Germans had war with the Poles. Okay, so you see the German army with this giant soldier. Okay, and then a single soldier from the Poles. Okay, who's going to fight them. All right, but I mean, history has it that the Poles defeated the Germans in 1410. Okay, this my friend told me. But what really captivated me with this artwork is that the giant depicted Black Sabbath's guitar sound in 1970. Okay, and then the small Pole soldier was all metal band's guitar sound in 2020. you know, my gosh, you know that I'll send it to you so you can enjoy it too. But you know that just tells you how influential they were, okay, and how big their sound was back in 1970. It hasn't really been how do you say that duplicated duplicated today, you know.
I was fortunate enough to watch them in Ozfest. I saw
Okay.
I saw two versions of Sabbath, the Ozzy and the Dio.
Oh,
Before
Dio was still alive.
yeah, it
What
was
what year was this? What year was this?
2010, because he
Okay.
died later on that year, a year later or something after we saw
Yeah,
him.
yeah. Well, how
And-
was it, man? It must
And
have been.
they didn't call it Black Sabbath. They called it Heaven and Hell.
I see. I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
but everyone knew they were gonna play those two albums, Mob Rules and Heaven and Hell. You know, those two
Right,
deep
right.
albums. Oh my! It's awesome. It was so awesome. I mean, Dio. I was like, I can't believe I'm watching Dio. And then, you know, when he passed away,
Yeah.
we actually went to his wake in
Wow, okay.
in Los Angeles. It was open to the public, but not the inside. You know, the body was only for was private, but
Yes,
outside,
yes.
but outside the church in the cemetery,
Yeah.
it was like a concert. It was so
Wow.
many people, so many people in black. We were all in Black Sabbath shirts.
Yeah,
Dio.
yeah. Yeah.
All the metalheads of Southern California, they were there, man. And
Wow, I can imagine. I can
Uh,
imagine the
yeah,
number
and
of people.
yeah, and then there was a screen outside, so we could see. They were having the service, so
Right.
everyone outside could watch the service, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was really they allowed the fans to be part of the wake, even though we were just outside. We still had access. We still had video access, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, it was cool, man. It's like one of the coolest. I mean, it was of course sad because it was awake, no. Pero
Yeah.
seeing all those other people who were there to pay tribute to the guy,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like when you see those in the news sometimes when a public figure dies and their bodies that's in state in the big cathedral, and there's a big line of people to
Yeah.
pay.
Right.
So it was
Right.
something like that, you know, and it was something like that, but metal style,
Yeah,
metal
yeah.
style. We're in the lawn, sitting down, of course, and then, there was no drinking, no partying, of course, syempre, kasi.
Yeah. Good.
Those-
Good. Respect the guy, diba?
Yeah, really, it was really, wow, it was like, it's like if they could see all these metalheads on Good Behavior, no one would believe it, man.
Yeah, I'm sure. Oh wow, that's quite a sight to see.
yeah, it was great. And then, and then I saw the one with Ozzy, and it's the sound,
Yeah.
the sound, and then when the sound of Tony Iommi alone, when he does the intro, it's just the guitar doing the intro.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, holy shit, that fucking sound, and then it's loud because they're the headliners. So the headliners the loudest.
Yeah, of course.
And that they really crank up that shit, man. Putang ina, pare.
Wait, this was in Ozfest, right? So you said you watched both Ozzy and Dio. Were these
No.
2 different days or?
Yeah, 2 different days. The Ozfest was earlier, maybe 2007
Okay, that's the one with Ozzy.
with Ozzy, yeah. Because
Okay.
in the 2000s, Ozfest was the top rock festival in the States.
Yeah.
And so they were there was like 5 years of really grabe. Their headliners were Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Deep Purple, Black Sabbath. Pare, grabe.
Wow, man.
Grabe. If you could see the poster, you'd be like, holy fucking shit. So, I ended up going to three of those,
Okay.
and I think Sabbath opened twice in the 2 years, And then the
Okay.
next year, yeah, because the first year it was Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath headlining,
Wow.
and then the
Wow.
next year was Judas Priest and Black Sabbath headlining.
Oh my God. Holy shit, man.
Diba? I'm getting goosebumps right now thinking of it, man.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need anything to get you high, man. Just the lineup alone will bring you
Yeah.
up there already.
Yeah, and then your opening acts are like Slayer, Queensryche,
Okay.
you know.
Wow.
those are
Wow.
the opening acts, you know.
Where was this? Where was this normally held?
This was in it's called Glen Helen. Now it's called Glen Helen. It's the
Okay.
venue where the US Festival was done back in
Okay.
83.
This is in L.A. This is in L.A.
No, not LA. It's outside LA. It's San Bernardino. On the
Oh,
way
okay.
on the way to Vegas.
All right, I
So
get.
San Bernardino is the last city before hitting Nevada.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that must have been something.
Yeah, man. So going back to you,
Yeah.
the first time I saw you was R&R, man.
Yeah. 1980s, 1987 was it? Maybe
87,
1987.
because you
Yeah.
played in San Antonio.
Correct.
In
That's right.
it was a variety show, I guess, and that was the first time I really saw a full live rock band. That you guys were my
Really?
first. Yeah, because
Wow.
I wasn't during that time when you guys played at that show, at that gig.
Yeah.
Everyone in front of you, maybe we were only just starting to go out to become,
Yeah.
to make gimmick in Makati.
You were in high school that time, if I
in high
remember right.
I was
Yeah.
in third year, fourth year, going
Okay,
into
okay.
college. But
There
when
you
when
go.
I saw you, I was still in high school. I was still 16, man. 16.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
And then
Uh,
you guys were you were a lot, there was Warren was there, Tony was the bassist.
Tony was the bassist at the time because
That
Tony only lasted with us for 1 year,
one
and
year,
then
right?
he left the group, and then he was replaced by GB Borgaili.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay,
Yes.
Roque Tordesillas must have been the drummer.
Yes,
Okay.
Roque was the drummer. That's why you probably played there, because Roque was active in Antioch, That's
Actually, yeah, Roque was the most active, but Warren
Tony.
was also with Antioch. And then we had another singer. You remember Jose Constantino?
Yeah.
Hoser was very active with Antioch.
But actually when I joined Antioch, well, for the listeners out there, Antioch's like a youth group in a local Catholic church where I used to live.
Yes. Yeah.
So that was like a youth church group. So yeah, it was no. But when I joined Antioch, Hoser wasn't going anymore. He wasn't active anymore because I had never met him. I had
Did
met
you
him.
join Antioch in San Antonio or
Yeah.
or in Green Hills? Not in
San-
Green Hills, in San Antonio. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But I was
So Hoser wasn't going anymore.
Yeah, he wasn't going anymore because I hadn't met him. The
Okay.
older, not older, but the older guys were Roque, Tony,
Mhm.
and Kobo.
Kobo, right? Because they had a band before R&R. They had a band. Well, the history of R&R was. I never had the chance to say this, but I'm glad I'm saying it now.
Yeah, man.
Kobo, Nepomuceno, Roque Tordesillas, Tony Esteban, Warren Norton, and then some other guys had a band called Melange. I don't know if you ever heard of that. Melange, okay? And then I had another group with George Marco, okay, which was, we both played, I even forget the name of the band I had with George Marco at the time. We both played at the Assumption Fair in December in San Lorenzo. Melange together with Melange played first, and then we played after. All right.
Oh.
George and I only formed that group for that particular concert, and then we met Roque, Hoser, Warren, and everybody else.
Okay.
And we decided, hey guys, we don't have a solid band, and Melange was pretty much going their own way. Okay, the members were going their own ways. So we said, yeah, sige, let's try something. So we got together in Roque's basement in Forbes, and we tried to work something out, which worked out really good. Okay, Kobo Nepomuceno was supposed to join us, but then later on he decided not to. So we ended up with
what?
He was playing the congas for Melange.
Nice.
But since we were more of a rock group than anything else, okay, because Melange was more of a new wave / pop group. Okay, they would do stuff from A Flock of Seagulls, from Berlin, the 1980s popular groups, right?
Yeah.
And here come George and I. We want to do stuff from Rick Springfield. we want to do stuff from Duran Duran, from Spandau Ballet, and we want to get a little heavier. We want to do some Whitesnake, So there was no need for congas. So Kobo said it's okay, no problem. So we ended up with the lineup which you saw. So that's what actually our first concert was at San Antonio. That might have been the one you were in.
Wow.
That was the first, but we played there many times. In several events. But that was the first. That was the first concert we ever had.
Yeah.
I remember that. That was so much fun.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like I said, that was the first live band I ever saw in my life. I mean, live right in front of me.
Okay. Okay.
The only concerts growing up that I've seen before that was the Village People when I was a kid, man, when they went to the Folk Arts Theater.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then, when I don't remember it. I don't remember it anymore. I couldn't even come up with an image of the Indian if I could,
Yeah.
It's so far back already, as a kid.
Yeah,
so you guys were the actual, where I could feel the distortion, the guitar distortion and the drums and the cymbals and the volume.
Yeah.
And then, that was my first live experience, So, and then you had Warren, who had a nice guitar. I think his guitar was that red guitar or something. It was like a really cherry red thing.
What did he have at that time? Oh, he had a Hondo Les Paul. A Hondo. It looked exactly like a Gibson. Okay, it had the tiger stripes and all. So, Cherry Sunburst, Hondo Les Paul.
That's it.
And then he stuck a Caller.
Right.
A Caller Bridge.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow. And then and then there were two guitars, and then you had a keyboardist. What's his name? He passed away.
We had Patrick Choi.
Patrick Choi, yeah.
Yeah, he passed away already. Many years ago.
Maybe
8-9 years ago.
Yeah.
Patrick was our first keyboardist, and then eventually we brought in another keyboardist, Archie Dairocas, who's based in New York right now. And that's when we really recorded our first two singles. At the time, in the 80s, di pa uso ang album, So let's release a single. Okay, let's see how it does. Let's release another single. What's that?
This is R&R?
R&R. No, so we're talking 1986, 87, right? So we released the first single, and then the record company said, "Sige, let's release another single," which was it written by the second single we released was written by Tony and George. Tony was still in the group. And then Archie comes in as a second keyboardist. Okay, we were really overkill, man. We were 8 members in the band.
I know, man. You're so much. You're a lot, dude.
8 members in the band. 2 keyboardists, 2 guitarists,
Two guitarists.
a bassist, and a drummer.
Yeah.
And then you had Hoser and I on lead vocals. But
Two singers.
George and Patrick also sang lead vocals. So we were really.
Wow.
It was the 80s, pare. You know, remember the 80s? Everything was big, pare. The hair was big, the clothes were big, the band was big. You know, the sound tried to be big.
The soundtrack.
You know what I mean? So after that, after we had a falling out, 1990 was it 19? No, late 89. Because we formed in 1986.
Mm-hmm.
Late 89, we had a falling out. Okay. I had signed the contract. This is the transition. Okay. I had signed the contract with RJ Productions because I was working at DZRJ at the time.
Right.
Okay. And DZRJ was putting together Pinoy Woodstock to commemorate 20 years of Woodstock in 1989. Okay. Yeah. So I signed a contract for R&R to play. Okay.
Yeah.
1 month before the recording. I mean, not recording. Sorry. 1 month before the concert, we had the falling out. This was late. Was it late? No, mid-November. Okay. We had a falling out. They wanted to use another singer, and some members quit. Okay. Okay, no problem. But I had signed the contract, so I contacted Manny Amador, okay, who would watch us as R&R when I was still in R&R, and he jammed with us once in a while. I go, Manny, we have a show coming up. What? No, yeah. You know, he was so excited, but because the guy was hungry to play.
Oh,
okay?
you asked to play.
I asked him that I told him that we needed to put a band together for Pinoy Woodstock.
Oh.
Okay, so he said, okay, let's practice. And to cut a long story short, 2 weeks before the concert, it was just Manny and I practicing guitar and vocals. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then finally, 2 weeks before the concert, Johnny appears. Okay, Johnny Besa. So we have
How do you know
guitar.
Johnny?
How did I know Johnny? Well, from a mutual friend.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
and we're both from LaSalle Green Hills also.
Okay,
so
right.
Johnny's batch 80, I'm 78. Anyway, so Johnny comes in, and then prior to that, Johnny had played with Manny in previous bands, no?
Mhm.
So Johnny comes in, kulang na lang, drummer. Man, we couldn't find a drummer to complete the band. Okay, for the life of us, we couldn't find a drummer to complete the band. And then, all of a sudden, 3 days before the show, Larry Diliaco calls Manny. He goes, "Hey Manny, back then it was only landlines, man. There were no cell phones, nothing, man. So, hey Manny, I'm kind of bored. Can we jam?" He goes, "Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean jam? We have a show in 3 days." Well, that was crazy, man. It was crazy. You know, so I said, how the heck are we gonna get something together in 3 days? And then the December '89 coup
Oh,
happens.
yes. Yeah.
Okay, the December '89 coup d'etat happens.
Yeah.
So that bought us a little more time. All right, so we practiced. We got 6 songs together, and we played in Pinoy Woodstock as R&R. Okay, because all the posters are made already.
Yeah.
So it was Manny, Johnny, Larry, and myself.
It's
okay?
the breed.
The breed, but we did not use the breed, and that was our very, very first show as as R&R.
Wow.
And we used the name for about 2 months, and then I got a call from one of the former members of R&R and said, "Hey Charles, I noticed you're using the name. Can you use something else about it? Because that was us." Okay, that name was us, and let's respect it. We're not together anymore. So I said, okay. I thought about it. Why not give my new band a new name, a fresh start? Mm-hmm. So I said, okay. And then we came up with the name. I came up with the name, The Breed. So that's where it all started. But
How did you come up with that name?
I don't know. Before that name, I thought of others. We were going to our first show as the Breed was in you remember the lagoon in Greenbelt, the Greenbelt Park Lagoon.
Yeah.
Before they renovated the place. Yeah, that was our first. That was our very first show, and it was a show which was sponsored by Ayala Land at the time. Okay, and posters were made. I thought of the name. Hey guys, let's go with the name Big Rock. Just Big Rock. All right, because I was still in the influence of Motley Crue, Poison, and all these other groups, the glam rock groups. So I thought Big Rock. What the heck? Let's go for it. But then days before that, I said, I thought about it, and then Big Rock doesn't have that much of an impact. Okay, and I want to use a name that can do any kind of genre, which is except disco or any of that stuff. No, I thought of something rock, or even if we became a new wave group or a jazz group for that matter, we could use a name. So I came up with a name, The Breed. The Breed as a jazz band, puede. The Breed as a new wave band. You had what was this? You had The Call. You had the whatever. Okay. New wave bands, puede. The Breed as a rock band.
The
what? The correct.
Yeah,
okay. And then what's this I was thinking of? Was it Lotus Eaters? Did they have or just Lotus Eaters?
No. I think they started off with and then they cut. I think they cut off the
There you see. So the Alarm. There you go. The Alarm. Okay, because those guys were in the new wave era, but they were heavy. They were pretty heavy.
They were heavy.
I thought of something like that, And then last I thought was The Breed as a rock band. And I said, yeah, it fits. So the posters were made. I contacted my friend in Ayala Land. I said, we're changing the name. Really? To what? And then I told him The Breed. So he made new posters and everything. So that was our launching. 1990. Late. Wow. No, not late. Mid 1990. Middle of 1990.
Wow. So wait a minute. Yeah. How was the gig at Pinoy Woodstock? What time did you play? Because we played. I played with Edmond, my band with Edmond Hysteria. We played.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
We were like third. We played third, so we played like 12:30 noon time. What time did you guys go up?
We played at about 6 p.m. It was just getting dark.
Nice.
Okay, and then they put us on. Okay, Howlin' Dave introduced us, and so we started playing. And if I remember the repertoire, we played All Along the Watchtower by U2. We had You Really Got Me, the staples of The Breed in the early days. No?
Yeah.
So it was good. Once we, this one I remember so well. Once we launched into the intro of Smoke on the Water, the whole crowd in front of us just got up, and then they just started headbanging. I go, man, I'm so glad. I'm so glad we're here, and I'm so glad I put this group together. It's perfect, Yeah. And from that concert, we decided it was so good. We felt so good on stage. We really put everything together in such a short time, but it came out so good that I told the guys, let's continue this.
Yeah.
So we did. The rest is history.
Was Manny already like that? Was he already jumping around and shit?
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. I mean, from day one. Because when I saw him for the first time, I didn't know who he was yet. Okay, and he was already doing all these Pete Townshend things with his guitar, because that's Pete Townshend is his initial influence. The Who, the poster you have behind you.
Right.
Anyway, so that was his initial influence, and he'd turn the guitar around, he'd take it off its strap and then do acrobatics with it. Manny was like that from day one.
Wow.
And the volume was there from day one. Yeah,
Already. So early on, did he already use his half stack already? Like
No, not yet, not yet. He had to rely on what was provided by the clubs. No? He only got his half stack sometime in '92, late '92.
okay.
Finally, he said, "Finally, I'm going to get decent sound."
Oh,
Because
my-
he never liked the amps that were provided. He could not stand the amp in Calle. Okay, when we played in Calle.
Yeah.
And he would always fight with the engineer guy, si Mang Tony. He'd always fight with Mang Tony and say, "If you give me decent sound, I can give you a decent performance. But you don't give me a decent sound, so I have to blast this stupid amp." and then when he gets his half stack, he walks in Calle with it, okay, rolling it on its wheels. And then Mang Tony sees it and he just scratches his head. He comes to me and says, "Charlie, wala na, bro. Di natin mahahabol si Manny. Bahala na." Because of the...
But you know what? Here in the States, man, that's normal. What he was doing with his bringing his half stack to the gig, it's what people here do. You bring your half to the show, pare. And
I would
even
imagine.
even if it's a small venue like that, they don't care. If that's your amp, that's your amp. The bartender will probably like, don't crank it up to 10.
Yeah,
But you can use your half stack, but only up to 3. Okay,
Okay,
So,
that, that makes sense, man.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Respect the guy for what he has.
Yeah.
That's what I always believe. And syempre, listen also to the bartender. Don't crank it to 10 because you'll drive the people away. Because people can only take so much in a small enclosed venue.
Yeah.
See,
It's not exactly a concert. It's just a.
yeah, exactly.
But
here,
yeah.
But here, back in those days, I mean.
Yeah, man.
The audience and the bar owners were not prepared for the second wave of Pinoy rock. They were not.
They were not.
They
were
were
not. Talaga, they were not. They had no clue what was happening.
Exactly.
No clue what to do with all these musicians who needed good equipment to play on.
That's right. Speaking of good equipment, I'm glad you mentioned that. When Minko Fabregas was our drummer, we used to play regularly at Mayrix. Mayrix in front of UST.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
so
I love these guys, man. They did so much for Wolfgang, but goddamn the fucking equipment, pare.
yeah, I was going to mention that. Our first show there. Okay, Minko was our drummer. Our very first show, our very first regular show. He goes behind the drums and he goes, "Charlie, this kit has had its day. It had its day, man." I go, "Dude, I know, man." I was bursting out in laughter, but I said, just do what you can with it,
God.
We did,
So you guys officially started in 1990.
Yep.
And Wolfgang Razorback, we only got formed. They formed 91. We got formed 92. So what was happening?
92 na kayo? I thought 91 pa.
Yeah.
92?
92.
Okay.
I was after my thing in Antioch, I separated from that group because you separate when you go to college. You find different friends. People. It's only natural.
Yeah.
So I gravitated to sila Miguel Ortigas, Tirso, David.
Right.
They were musicians. I needed to hang out with other musicians.
Right.
Because I had already been with a band with Edmond Hysteria. We already played Pinoy Woodstock. It's like this is my dream. I want to do it, so I need another band.
Yeah.
So yun. So I started hanging out with them, and Razorback was already formed, but they were just barkada band in the living room.
Yeah.
And that's when I first met all of them. And so during this time, what were you guys doing? Because we
So
weren't
we
going
formed.
time. We were just we didn't know anything of a music scene or nothing, you know.
We started out. Our first few gigs were at Hobbit House. Okay, Manny got that gig for us because Manny knew some of the people in the scene. I knew some people in the pop scene. Okay, because that's where R&R was really thrown to. Okay,
Right.
but Manny knew more of the underground scene at the time. So he knew the manager of Hobbit House. So he got us a few gigs there. And then we just kept practicing and practicing all throughout 1990. We kept practicing. We wrote our first few songs in 1990, but we didn't record it till many years later. No? And then at the end of 1990, was it, or early 1991, we finally got a regular gig at Fire and Rain.
Fire and Rain.
Yes, together with the Runaway Boys, which eventually became Rizal Underground, right?
Right.
Them of Stephen Liu and the original members of the Runaway Boys. And Advent Call.
Right.
Advent Call, The Breed, and the Runaway Boys were three of the headliner bands in Fire and Rain. Every month, Eddie Rocha, the owner-manager of Fire and Rain, would have a party. Okay, and he'd get his favorite bands to perform. So it was always the Runaway Boys, Advent Call, The Breed, and then I don't know if you remember the Chosen Fools. Okay, I don't know if you've ever watched them. They were pretty good. I mean, they were Biahe veterans. Okay,
Oh, okay.
so if you wanted to hear another brick on the wall, exactly the way it's played in the record, these were the guys to listen to. Okay.
Wow.
Exactly. I mean, the solo was note for note. The voicing was note for note. Even the scream, hey, you
Yeah.
know, it was there. So these guys were
Stand
something
still,
else.
laddie.
There you go. Exactly. You know.
They even
These
do
guys
that.
were something.
Do that.
Yeah.
Yeah?
What you hear on the record? What you hear on the record? That's what you hear from this band. No. So that was great. So Fire and Rain lasted about 2 years, and then we went to Calle. Calle was another one. Every Wednesday was crazy. But it worked for us, but it did not work in our favor for recording an album. I mean, you among the three that you mentioned, Razorback, Wolfgang, and The Breed, you guys were the first ones to record an album under Ivory Records, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
No, okay, and then Razorback recorded under Alpha Records, okay, and we finally recorded after everybody did. So I said, why didn't we record before anybody else? Because having you guys there, and then Razorback, and then finally The Breed. Plus, we, I'm not gonna mention the recording company anymore. But the marketing was not as good as where you guys went to later on.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Your marketing was great. I mean, the thing back then was videos. Okay, music videos. You guys had music videos. Razorback had music videos.
Yeah.
We never had a single music video. We were not offered that. So, sayang, That could have helped in our marketing.
There was just some record companies at the time, like you said, nobody was ready for that thing to happen.
Yeah.
So they didn't know that you need to have music videos, because all around the world, the award show to watch was the VMAs, the Video Music Awards.
Correct. That's right.
Because it was all groundbreaking and all, and it was a big deal for a while, maybe 5 years or so.
Yeah.
Videos were like a big deal. It's like now, it's like, if you watch a music video, it's weird, man.
I know.
because you can watch all these bands live on YouTube anyway. All their live performances are there.
That's right. That's right. But back in the day, that was the staple. If you wanted to get good marketing, record a video, diba?
Record video,
and promote the songs in your album. That was the best way. But the record company we signed under, they were more old school.
Yep.
Okay, they were. We were even asked to record more love songs for our second album. Can you believe that? You're gonna ask the Breed to record
it.
Oh, there you see.
My God, they had no clue, man.
Yeah,
well, in ours it was Tone Deaf. They had to come up with a subsidiary, the Tone Deaf.
Correct.
Because they didn't know if this was gonna work or not. So they didn't want to attach these bands to the main company.
Yes, I remember that.
Any money. That was the time when I first saw the Breed, was in Calle.
Yep.
Wednesday nights.
You didn't go to Fire and Rain? You never saw us in Fire and Rain?
I never went to Fire and Rain, dude, because that was happening. Yun na nga. Fire and Rain was happening when I was still in limbo between bands.
Okay.
And when I first started hanging out with Sila Miguel. I would hang out with them, but I did not go out with them yet.
Okay.
And I think maybe Miguel and Tirso, they probably had gone to Fire and Rain because maybe, because it's their crowd. The older their older friends were hanging out there. But I never. I heard about it. It's like, and then when I saw Fire and Rain in Pasay Road, it was still there, but there were no more bands. It was like it had its day already or something.
Yeah.
Is that what happened to Fire and Rain?
Fire and Rain eventually became. What did it become? 2 establishments down was Equinox 2. That was a disco.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Fire and Rain, when it closed, they tore it down. They put a high rise, a building.
Oh, right.
So it did not become a bar anymore.
Yeah.
But in the early 90s, it was a pretty happening place. Before we came in, as early as 1988, they had bands like what was this Latin group? Salsa Boys. The Salsa Boys. I don't know if you remember that. They used to play Santana. They were good. They were really good. They had the Marin brothers. Elkin, who is married to the doctor's, who is the brother-in-law of the doctor. He's married to the doctor's sister. And then you had Nelson Marin, who was the younger brother. They were good. That's all I can say. They were really good. They had this great guitarist, this veteran guitarist from the early days, okay? Because when we were in the rock scene in the 90s, that was the second wave, if you remember, okay? The first wave was with Juan de la Cruz, the Downbeats, Pepe Smith, Maria Cafra. So the Salsa Boys had a guitarist by the name of Bob Razon. Now he calls himself Bo Razon.
Dude.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So he's originally Bob Razon, but now he calls himself Bo. And he's a damn good guitarist.
Oh my God, he's a great conga player and everything, pare.
Also, yeah. And then he moved into Brazilian, he moved into Latin music.
Yeah.
But back in the day, he had this very, very popular group which played in Antipolo rock. Antipolo rock was the first of its kind that was like Woodstock, which was 1971, pre-martial law, before martial law.
That's the year I was born, dude.
71 ka? You were 71. Oh,
71.
There you go. So you had to go all the way to Antipolo to have all these bands play. Okay, you couldn't do it anywhere in the city for some restriction or whatnot. So they went all the way to Antipolo. So everybody followed them because in 1971 you still had these post-hippies, okay, wanting to see all these hippie bands. And if I remember right, I spoke to Bo, and he said, in our band we played Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones, okay? And so
Yeah.
we asked all our girlfriends to come with us on stage to do the choo-choo,
Yeah.
choo-choo. All the girlfriends of the band, they all went on stage to do that. That was amazing, amazing story.
Wow. I didn't know he was that old. He doesn't look
Yeah,
old,
man.
pare.
He doesn't. He looks so young.
So
I mean,
he's originally a guitarist.
oh yeah, one of the guitar giants of the early days. I mean,
Wow.
of course you had Wally Gonzalez. Okay, you had Rene Garcia, the late Rene Garcia of Hot Dog, had
Absolutely.
his group back in the day called Red Fox.
Red Fox.
And he was. They used to play a lot of Rolling Stones. They were a classic rock group. Okay, before they became Hot Dog.
It was still
You know,
the brothers in Red Fox.
The brothers, Rene and Dennis, who are both gone already.
Yeah, rest in
And
peace.
then you had the other members. I think Lori Illustre, who became a very popular producer here, was one of the members back then. Red Fox was rehearsing one time. Did you ever rehearse in Benavides Studio in San Juan?
Yeah.
It was along Wilson, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Benavides.
Okay.
Yeah.
Benavides, Litos Benavides owned it, okay? So it's not there anymore. It's along Wilson, okay? Close to where the Lontoks used to live. Very
Right.
close to where the Lontoks used to live, okay? So that was the only decent rehearsal studio back in the early 70s, okay? You didn't have Perfect Pitch. You didn't have, where did we used to rehearse? The one of Concert Tech. You remember
Concert
that?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Concert
You didn't have
Tech.
that. So Red Fox was rehearsing. They just went for rehearsal one time in Benavides. And in walks a producer from the United States and heard them. And he talked to Rene and Dennis. And they said, he told them, you know what? I've been auditioning a lot of bands. I've been here for the last couple of weeks. And after hearing you guys are the ones we were looking for. Okay, to cut a long story short, they signed the deal. They played in Hawaii for a full year. In
Wow.
Hawaii. Yeah, man.
Oh.
They played what they wanted. They played Stones. They played, they even played early Elton John because they were into that. They saw Elton John in Hawaii. That was amazing. And then when the contract finished, the other members wanted to stay, so they stayed in Hawaii, and bahala na what happens, right?
Right.
Rene and Dennis said, we got to go home because we have families. Okay,
Yeah.
so they went home, and they put another band together, and they decided to call it Hot Dog.
Hot dog. I
Yeah,
love
too.
the name. It's such
Yeah, man.
and hot dog.
Yeah. What's your band? Hot Dog. And we created the Manila sound. Pare. I mean, how much better can you go?
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? If you really think about it, man, Manila has its own theme song, dude.
That's true. That's true.
It's not a cheesy fucking theme song made by some politician. It's a fucking bona fide, well recorded
Yep.
song.
Yep.
It's like here in LA, they have that song, I Love LA. I love
Okay.
LA. It's their national anthem. When I hear it, it's like, tangina, we have one too, man.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's
Like
it's,
in New York. New York has several. It has New York,
Yeah.
New York. It has I Love New York. We have Manila.
and it's like I think it's when a city really touches an artist that they have
Yeah.
to. It's like when you go to. I've never been to Paris, but when you see on video, it's like you see all these artists painting all these statues and architecture, and then they'll sell their painting and the thing. So it inspires. Manila inspired that song, and then when you hear it, and especially if you grew up in Manila, you feel it. You're like, wow, man! It's like I get homesick, and you
Yeah,
can feel
that's
even
true.
if you're there, every day with the traffic and and the heat and all of that and the humidity, and then you hear that song, you're like, you know what? It's not so bad. You know.
No. I mean, I've been here. I've been here all my life, dude.
I know,
and I still love the song. Well, another reason is because it's written by one of my best friends. No, but it's whenever I hear it, there's a part of me that says thank you, thank you for being this way. Thank you for being what you are, Manila.
All right. Yeah. I mean, man. I mean that city's been through fucked up shit, man.
Oh really? Oh really? You're not kidding. Hey, speaking of which, how's the pandemic going on there? I mean, how's
well, it's much better that the other president is not here anymore. I don't want to say his name. He's such an idiot, and and now the President Biden is saying that he wants, or he didn't say he wants. It's like he's telling the American people, in 6 weeks, everybody is eligible to get a vaccine. So that means, that all the frontline workers, all the senior citizens, and essential workers, and hospital caregivers like myself, I already got vaccinated because I'm a caregiver. So So in 6 weeks, everybody else can get it already. So that's the situation.
All right. What vaccine did you have, if I may ask?
Pfizer.
Okay. Because here, we don't. They're already, the healthcare workers and doctors. They're already vaccinated, but I can't tell you for sure what the vaccine was. So, what we are waiting for, like me, for example, the normal citizens, we're waiting for the Moderna vaccine. Because we were told by our physician that it's one of the best. I mean, it's up there with Pfizer, and Pfizer is also going to come here soon.
Okay, but also ask also your physician about and everybody who's listening in the Philippines, ask your physicians about the Johnson and Johnson one.
Yeah,
because that is the latest
gaining
one.
popular. That's gaining popularity here.
Because
that's the latest one.
One dose. It's only one shot. All the others are 2 shots, 2 weeks, 14 days apart. And the J one is just 1 shot. It's going to be, if you're not used to vaccines like that strong, 1 shot is going to knock you out. but it's funny here because in our business, we work with seniors, and most of the seniors, parang wala. It's nothing to them. And
really?
Then, yeah, it's nothing to them. And they just get it, and then there's no symptoms. They don't feel tired. No, nothing. And then we went to my patient's dermatologist, and the nurse there is like, yeah, my husband was out for 2 days, man.
Oh, okay.
My patient's like 86, and she's wala, nothing happened. So and then it's like. And then the doctor's probably, and then her doctor's probably like, well, old people, they have a lot of medicine in them already. Yeah. So they're used to, all those foreign things in their body already.
Right.
Whereas someone who only gets vaccines, like you got your vaccines when you're a kid, and if you're an annual flu vaccine taker, then that's the only vaccine that you're taking. So if you're getting a big one like the Pfizer one and Moderna, you're gonna get knocked out. I had a friend, and like she's vegan, and it's like for a week she was throwing up. I'm like, holy shit, man! And like for me, I only had a sore arm from the needle.
That's it. That's the only thing That's the only thing that you suffered from?
Yeah.
Just a sore arm?
A sore arm from the needle, because, that's what happens that's what happens when you get poked, you get sore. Okay. And it was no fever, no nothing.
Yeah.
But I think the theories were it's like the younger you get, it's like 30s to 20s, I think the effect, there are more symptoms, I think, because
Okay.
I'm not sure. I don't know why. It's just hearsay and all of that, and speculation, but nothing's for sure.
Yeah. Now, one question. Do seniors there in the United States get the same benefits or more like seniors here? Because senior age here is 60 and above, right? So we get 20% discount, and you don't have to line up in queues, all that stuff. Do the seniors there have similar privileges?
The seniors here, well, you have your Social Security. That's your sueldo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Get a monthly from that. It's really up to the person, because if you didn't, like, let's say you're growing up and if you didn't save your money, when you become a senior, you won't have that much money,
Right.
and you'll have to depend on the government to give you the money.
Right.
But like my patient, when she was growing up, she was only a secretary, but she invested in the stock market. So
Okay.
so until now, she still has those stocks that she bought for cents, but now it's like a big,
Right.
So it depends, but the benefits, I'm not sure what the senior benefits are. It's just the usual, well, the visible ones that I know is that you get a discount at the movies, like there in the Philippines.
Yeah.
But with medical stuff, I mean, the thing here is,
I think the medical privilege there is pretty free, as long as you've been paying your taxes and all that.
yeah, there's
There's better medical privileges there than there is here.
yeah, of course, yeah.
Here we have the thing like PhilHealth, which gives you some benefits. Okay, but nothing like what the benefits are there.
But the thing is, here now, there's a big debate which is going to happen now here in the government here, and it's the Medicare for all thing.
Oh,
Medicare for
okay.
all is talagang government subsidized. What's this option? It's an option you can take. So what they
Yeah.
want, they're not going to get rid. Some politicians, they want to totally get rid of medical insurance companies, but that's hard
Right.
because America's a capitalist country. It's
Yeah.
hard to argument against making money. It's very hard.
Correct. Yeah. I'm sure.
So there has to be an option, a public option, that people who
Okay.
can't afford, because medical insurance, bro, is so expensive, pare.
I can imagine.
If you want the care that is like, if you emergency care, talagang you have to get a top tier. Medical insurance has different tiers, so you
Yes,
want
yes.
to have the basic, you get the basic. But if you want
Right.
the top, if you get COVID and you have to get on a ventilator,
Right.
and then you need the top tier insurance to pay for that, or else
Right.
no, you're gonna get back. So many people. That's the big thing here. So many people here get bankrupt because of a medical event
Problem.
happened to
Yeah,
them.
because of a medical problem.
An accident that was not foreseen, an unforeseen
Right.
event that, putang ina, pare, they had to give all of their money away because the medical bills were just out of this world. So
Yeah, that's the sad part about it, dude. I mean, even here, especially here, I mean,
yeah,
9 out of 10 people here, maybe the ratio is even higher, but
Yeah.
9 out of 10 people don't have medical insurance. Okay? And insurance here, unfortunately, okay, insurance here is not a priority. I have friends in the insurance business and they've been approaching me, Charlie, it's still okay. You can get for yourself, you can cover yourself like that. And that's essential. So if anybody's listening there and you're thinking twice, if you have the means, get medical
Get-
insurance. If
Yeah.
not medical insurance, any kind of insurance,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
Any kind.
Any
Because to
kind.
not have any kind of insurance when you need it is really bad.
Yes, talaga. And that's the issue, is that when people here who have no medical insurance, which is a lot,
Yeah.
which is more than the people who can afford insurance, is that they're, and it's usually poor people, poorer people.
Yeah.
And that's hard. It's hard for me to say that sentence, because this is America. They're not supposed to be poor people here, but there's so many poor people here, pare. There's so many homeless people in Los Angeles, pare. Los Angeles.
What?
Huh?
But why? What do you attribute that to? I mean, what's the cause? I mean, is it the?
There's so many causes. The rent goes the rent goes up so high. It's all connected, and then oh my god, it's all connected, man. It's so weird. And then it's very, if you're careless, you can become homeless like that.
There
If
you
you're
go.
careless, pare, one wrong bet in fucking Vegas, you're done.
Yep.
Pare. You're gonna live in a tent in the freeway, pare. And in
Oh my
Los
God.
Angeles now, Los Angeles, dude, I mean, I haven't been there in a year because of the lockdown.
Yeah.
And the last time I was there, the tents on the road, it's tents everywhere, tents.
That's where people live, on
They
tents.
live in tents.
In tents.
In the
Oh my God.
side the freeway, beside the road, pare.
Is that allowed? Is that allowed by the
Yeah,
government?
well, yeah, it's allowed because it's a sidewalk, it's a public space.
Okay.
You can't
I
kick
see.
them off the sidewalk, They're-
I see.
and they have their own tent, so they're not, it's just a mess, man. And Los Angeles is it's a huge county and a huge city, pare. It's so hard to control all those people there, man.
I can imagine.
But I mean,
can
it's a sad.
really imagine.
I mean, there was a podcast I was watching, and this guy in Venice Beach, he made a video from his phone. All the tents, or the homeless people in tents, were on the sidewalk, and his video was like a minute long. No, not even a minute, 30 seconds of him going. The speed limit on a road here is about let's say 40 miles an hour. That's probably 75 kmh.
Okay. Yeah.
30 seconds, 75, 80 kph of video. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, more tents, 10, 10, 10, and more tents and
Oh my
10.
gosh.
30 seconds of that. Wala pang 10 seconds yun, yung sinasabi ko.
Yeah.
Pare. So, it's one big thing, and that's the thing, because all of these things that people can't afford to live, the standard of living is so high, and the minimum wage is so low.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh?
The minimum wage right now, official, is $7.50, pare. $7.50
An hour.
an hour. You can't live on that, dude. You can't live. You can't live if you're single. You can't live on $7.50. How much more if you have a kid or two kids or three? Shit.
Oh my
So
God.
the fight here now is for those two things. Is the Medicare for all. So there's a public option. If you can't afford, there's already the Obamacare. It's Affordable Care Act. So there's
Okay.
insurance there's insurance that's very cheap. Pero yung basic din yung services.
Yeah.
It's the basic tier, but they added that really cheap tier to the thing so that people who are poorer or less fortunate, they can afford that. But
Oh, that's
now
good.
they want a basic option na talagang you have an option na talagang libre lahat, pero kakaltasin sa taxes mo yun. Siyempre, di ba?
Yeah. Yes, of course. Oh, tama.
And the thing is, every other first world country in the world except America already does this. You go to
That surprises me, huh? I'm surprised why the U.S. hasn't followed suit.
You know why, pare? Because it's all connected. It's because of the pharmaceutical companies, pare. They don't
Okay.
want to. Another thing is they don't want to the legalization of marijuana is taking forever because there's so many lobbyists in the government that because cannabis is already known in America and around the world as medicine. It's proven already.
Yeah.
It's medicine. So once they totally legalize that, the medicine from the Pfizer or whatever, they're gonna lose a lot of money in one segment
Yeah.
of their sales because cannabis, the cannabis is going to take over, and cannabis has no side effects. So, diba? All these other fucking medicine, fucking pare, in the, in the commercials here of medicines, they have it. It is government policy that they list, they announce all the side effects of the medicine at the end of the commercial.
Yeah.
Okay, 80% of the medicine commercials, one of the side effects is thoughts of suicide.
Oh my gosh.
Who the fuck wants to take medicine that's gonna give you thoughts of suicide?
Absolutely. Unless you're already suicidal.
But they're still peddling that medicine, even though
my
it's
gosh,
there in plain sight, because you have to say the side effect on the commercial. So it's there in plain sight. If you take this medicine, you might get well, but then you might shoot yourself in the head too. It's your choice. No, pare, dude.
So proceed at your own risk, in other words.
Yeah.
Right?
And then of course, these companies have to make money, so they have to hook up with all the doctors and physicians. So, the physician has a medicine, that he prescribes specifically because he's connected with that company. If it's a Pfizer, whatever, he has connection with Pfizer. Puro Pfizer ang prescription yan, di ba?
Yeah, exactly. Same thing happens here. Doctors here, they prescribe this certain medicine because, I don't know, but I don't want to say it. I don't know for sure, but they might have kickback with this certain pharmaceutical guy, this pharmaceutical agent.
Right.
This med rep, they might have some kickback, so they prescribe this from this certain company.
That's exactly what it is. And of course, when the patient gets addicted to it, especially if it's a painkiller, that's the number one here, man. Painkillers. Just go. Oh my God. I've known a person who was addicted to painkillers because he broke his back.
Yeah.
And he has pain all the time. Pare, it's so sad, man. It's sad when someone's addicted to drugs, and that's drug. He's a drug addict. It's a legal drug.
Would you know what painkiller this is, or you can't mention it?
Oh man, what are those? The usual suspects, man. I can't pull up the name right now. Shit, it'll come to me. But anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, there are two really famous painkillers that people get addicted to. Like Heath Ledger, he was addicted to that, and it led him to suicide.
Yeah.
Because the side effects were so bad. But anyway, that's the thing here in America now is the gap between the haves and the have-nots is really, really, I don't know, it's getting bigger. And the pandemic happened, and it just got worse, pare.
Made it even worse. Yeah, the economy here is suffering also. That's why there's an argument between government and private sector. Okay, government wants to protect the rest of the citizens who are big in number, who don't have means. Okay, when I talk about that, we talk about the less fortunate here, right?
Yeah.
The ones you and I know about.
Yeah.
And then the private sector and the restaurant owners and whatever other business owners you have here, they say, hey, let us open. Okay, we need to make money for our businesses to survive. Okay, so where do you draw the line?
So even you can't even do takeout in the restaurants there.
Now, like for example, now as we speak, okay, you cannot dine in restaurants.
Right.
Now, because there's a lockdown. There's how should I say it? It's not a lockdown. Okay, but there's a semi-lockdown that you cannot eat inside restaurants, Okay, like for example, my son and I had to get something in the mall yesterday, and the restaurants there no dine in, but takeout was allowed.
Okay. Yeah.
Now restaurants outside the mall, like for example McDonald's, they don't allow you to dine in their restaurant, but you can dine outside.
Outside.
Okay, where they set up tables and all that.
Right.
So at least may
Yeah.
sitting naman, di ba? You can dine in if you want. It's
Yeah.
not na take it out and eat it in the car, which is
Yeah.
which is such a hassle, man. Especially if you're the one driving like me.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
No, it's the same
Right.
here. Same here. It's dine out, and if the restaurant is a big dining room, they already allow dine in, but every other table.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
every other table is open and every other table is closed.
That's
And,
what was happening. That was what happening here. That was
Okay.
happening here
Right.
late last year, even up to early this year.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've heard. There's been a resurgence of cases here in Manila. Not only in Manila, in other parts of the country also.
Right.
Did you hear about? Did you know Bojet Mayoralgo? He was the guitarist of Ani Bughao. Remember that band?
He passed away, right?
He passed away. He was a good friend because the doctor Ramon
Yeah.
put up a bar tour back in 2012 all the way till 2017 before he left for the States, right? And I was a regular in that bar tour, not as the Breed, but just as myself. And then Ani Bughao, Renegades of Rock. There you go. Okay, and so I got pretty close to Bojet, right? And when I heard of his passing, I was just totally shocked. So I went to his wake and everything. And within the wake, all the friends, all his very close friends were saying, let's put together a tribute for him. And I was the first one to raise my hand because finally I got the new version of the Breed together, and he said, we'll play. Okay, even if we haven't released anything yet, we'll play. Okay, so I was the first one to confirm. And then the rest of the bands confirmed, right? And then the organizers asked me if I could host. And I readily said yes. No problem, pare. Do it for Bojet. Of course, it's a tribute, and there's no cost whatsoever. Nobody gets paid. We do it for the love of the guy. All right? But a week and a half or a week before the planned tribute was going to happen, it was going to happen on March 10. Okay? But a week before that, or even a week and a half before that, the cases started rising. I have a friend who lives in Manila, okay, a classmate of mine, and he's in the hospital now with COVID. Okay, he's thank God he's out of the ICU, all right, and he's in a regular room recovering. Thank God for that. But when he was confined, I thought to myself, man, this may not be a good idea. Okay, if I go into a bar with 100 or more people, because how can you control that, man? It's a tribute for Bojet, and how can you control his friends saying, hindi ka na pwede because it's full capacity already? You can't. Okay.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself,
super spreader
man,
event.
dude, I just turned 60. I'm already a senior. Okay. So holy smoke, man! I'm gonna go into a bar with 100 plus people. That's very risky.
Yeah.
So I talked to one of the organizers who used to be the drummer of Ani Bughao, and I said, dude, I hope you don't mind if I beg off, pare. I'm just concerned about my health. Okay, I'm not that young. I'm older than all you guys. Okay, so I just want to be safe. And he totally understood. Okay, he said, no problem, Charles. I mean, I understand where you're coming from. We'll make do. And you know what happened? 2 days before the tribute was supposed to happen, they decided to postpone it. Okay, buti na lang. Okay?
Yeah.
Because cases were rising. Who knows what could have happened there? Who could have gotten infected?
Yeah.
And it's not cheap.
All you need is one person.
Yeah. A few days ago on my birthday, I had a swab. Okay, because my niece does that as a business. She has a nurse partner who is registered, so they have this business. So I had a swab, and thank God I'm negative.
Nice.
But I'm glad they decided to postpone that event, okay, to a later date when it's safer. Because now it's It's pretty dangerous now
Yeah.
here.
Man. What would
So,
What would shit? I I just no, because I just remembered Manny Amador.
yeah, Manny.
Last time I saw him before he passed away was in Cebu. He was living there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He moved there in 2002, maybe
Yeah.
2001, somewhere there.
And then because 2001, three-headed dog. We played in Cebu 2011, first time I think,
Okay.
and he was there, and he was there. He was in front. We're like, Manny Amador, what the fuck are you doing here, man? And he was there in front, like, guys, hey, he's like, oh shit.
Who were you with at the time? Who was in the band?
Dog, David Aguirre and Danny Gonzalez.
Okay.
The guys of Locomotive, but without the singer.
Okay. Who would do the lead vocals? Dave.
Dave. Yeah, Dave.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he had had enough of working with singers. Is his famous. But when I sing,
All right.
the singer's gonna be on time. The singer's gonna be in tune. So like,
Yeah.
pare, basta you sing in tune. I'll back you up, pare.
I remember I watched you guys in Penguin many years ago with the singer. Who was your singer after Basti?
The American guy, Ryan.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It was you, David, Danny. What's
Danny.
Danny's last name?
Gonzalez.
Yeah. Danny.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Ryan.
He ended up marrying my sister. He's now my brother.
Who? Danny?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not Dave.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I know.
But anyway, so yun.
So you saw Manny. And then what happened?
And we played, and he was there in front, man. He was in front. He was rocking out all the time, the whole time, being Manny. And then I think it was a year later, or maybe 2 years.
No, it was that year. It was that year when he passed away. But yeah, you must have gone there early 2011.
It was early. Yeah, it was early.
Okay. He passed away in August 2011.
It was January or Feb. We were there, so it was a shock. We were so shocked, man. We were just like, wow, we just saw him, man. We just saw him. We were telling each other that we just saw him, man. He was so alive and all of that. So I mean, at the very least, my memory of him, my last one was of that. It was of him watching us and rocking out and being Manny Amador. And
did Dave let him jam? Did you guys let him jam as well?
Yeah, he probably did, man.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably did. I don't remember, but he probably did.
The last gig I had with Manny was a breed reunion, an all original breed reunion. Manny, Johnny, Larry, and myself.
Wow.
And it was in 19 East, and we had a full house. Okay, but the only musician that we really knew who went was Tirso Ripoll. Okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So obviously we called him on stage, because at that time I would play 2-3 songs per set. Naman Manny, pare, he likes to play guitar all on his own, pare. So he allowed me, quote unquote, sige pare, you play 2 songs with me, 2-3 songs per set. Okay, fine. Thank you, thank you. Sige. So the kind, pare. So Tirso was in the audience, so we called him on stage. So he picked up my guitar and he played with us, and it was fun. It was really fun. That was the last time I played with Manny, and then a year later he was gone. Okay, the story of that is his birthday was August 7. So I greeted him on the day, and he was in Cebu. Okay, and he immediately replied and said, "Thanks, man. Thanks a lot." He was 49. One more year and he was going to turn 50.
Oh, my God.
And then weeks later, maybe 2 weeks later, his mom contacts me. And she goes, "Charlie, have you heard from Manny? because I've been texting him, but he hasn't replied. But I said, Tita, no, actually, I texted him a few days, yesterday. I texted him yesterday, and neither did I get any reply.
Oh my God.
Okay, let me call his friend. An hour later, she calls me, and she said, Manny, she was crying on the phone.
Oh my
And
God.
she said, Charlie, Manny is gone.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
they found him in his room because he was renting a room in the house somewhere in Cebu.
Yeah.
They found him in his room. That was a day after he passed. He had a cardiac arrest. Okay, the autopsy happened. He had a cardiac arrest because Manny was highly diabetic, dude. He was
Oh,
highly
wow.
diabetic. Yeah. And then, Butcha, what does he do? Butcha, if you I don't know if we were playing together one time in Club Dread, okay?
Uh-huh.
But after our set, he goes to the tindahan, he goes to the store and buys a liter of Coke and downs it, you know? That was his style. He buys a liter. He doesn't buy a 500 or a solo. He buys a liter and then downs it, pare. 1.5 pa nga yata eh. If not Coke, sige, Sprite. Same shit, you know what I mean?
Damn.
That was his thing. And then he was already shooting himself with insulin. Okay, but still, he would drink his Coke. So that's what got him. That's what got him, unfortunately.
Diabetes. Man, yeah, I mean, shit. I mean, if you have diabetes and you don't control it, it's gonna get you, man. Shit.
You bet.
I didn't know that about him. So was
Yeah.
that common knowledge that he was diabetic?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
common knowledge. I mean, he used to, I saw him on separate occasions bring out the needle and shoot himself with insulin. You
Yeah.
know? It was freaky, pare. I'm afraid of needles, man. I can't when I have to take a blood test ordered by the doc. I have to look away. You know, they're extracting blood from me. I have to look away. But and then I asked the nurse, is it done? Is it done? Opo sir, tapos na. Okay, fine. You know, that's how duwag I am. Pare.
So let's talk naman about I want to know about your DJ life naman. This is the one thing that's so unique about Charlie Y, pare. Is that you had this parallel journey as a rock singer and as a radio DJ, and you were successful in both.
Yeah, thank God for that.
Yeah, man. People know when you say Charlie Y, they know. Yeah, singer of the breed. Yeah, or DJ, Charlie Y. You know. So
okay.
Well, what was the genesis of that? Did you? Because when I interviewed the doctor, I also interviewed Bob Magoo and Jaime.
Okay.
And Jaime.
Okay. Yeah.
And,
all right. So what started me out there was in 1986 I formed R&R. Okay. And so we immediately started playing gigs all around. Okay. So that started my band career. But prior to that, I was an avid listener. Even in the 70s, I was an avid listener of RJAM, the Rock of Manila. Okay, and that's where I first heard Bob Magoo, Howlin' Dave, okay, the Madman, and then later on, Jaime joined in 1980, right after he graduated high school in 83. Okay, Jaime joined RJAM. It was still RJAM, so I'd be listening to them. And then 1984 comes into the picture. They decide, let's change the format. Okay, I mean, RJ himself was not back yet. He was still in Hawaii on self-imposed exile, okay, because it was still the Marcos years.
Yeah.
So DZRJ decides, let's change the format. They became Wink Radio. Okay, I don't know if you remember that. WNK, Wink Radio. And then they put all female DJs on. Okay, they took out all the rock jocks and they changed it to mushy music, soft music, the Bangles, and then Juice Newton, and all, yeah, you know,
Bangles, and Eternal Flame.
Eternal Flame, Okay, things of the day. Okay, who else did you have? I can't remember now. Those are the two names that came into me. Basta, it was all it was all mushy stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And then what happened then? EDSA 1 happens. The revolution happens. Okay. So everything got closed. Okay. RJAM became Radio Bandido. All right. To cut a long story short, shortly after, RJ comes back to the country. Okay, because he was not very close to the Marcoses, right? So he comes back to the country, and then he gets his stations back. Okay, FM and AM. FM was playing real exquisite, exotic, deep jazz. Okay, they were awesome. Okay, RJFM was awesome. And then AM stuck to the rock. Okay, when Wink Radio came into the picture, a different set of listeners came in. But he got back his station, so RJFM became what it is today, a retro station.
100.3.
Okay, with 100.3. It still plays retro music. But I gotta admit, okay, their format now today is really, really good. I listen to them. They're the only station I really, really listen to because they play the old. Their tagline is playing the greatest to the latest, which is nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And then sometime in '87, he decides, or Alan Austria, who was his longtime bassist in RJ and the Riots, and who kept the Rock of Manila alive when Ramon was in exile, convinced him, hey, Ramon, why don't we bring back the Rock of Manila? Okay, because we still have a lot of listeners out there. So they brought back the Rock of Manila in late '87. I remember I was traveling to Baguio one time, and I said, what the heck? What's happening with RJAM right now? So I tuned in to 810 AM, and then I hear Bob Magoo. I said, and then he goes, good afternoon, you got Bob Magoo on the radio. I go, what the fuck? Are they back? Are they back? So I listened, and true enough, they played all the music I used to listen to, and then the format was back. And at the time, because RJ is married to my aunt. Okay, his second wife is my aunt, Franny Aguinaldo Jacinto. Okay, so I found a way to get to her, and I wanted to get into radio. But I've been wanting to get into radio since 1984, 85. No, so sabi ko, this may be my ticket in. Okay, this was early '98, and so true enough, I got through to Tita Franny, and she talked to RJ. And we talked to each other. He goes, okay, come to the station, do an audition. And then they finally decided to take me on. So I went on the air for the first time on July 4th, 1988.
July? Okay. Oh, 4th of July.
July 4th. 4th of July, 1988. Okay, I went on the air. RJAM, the Rock of Manila.
Wow.
Okay.
Do you remember that day?
I remember that day. I don't remember what I said on the air, but I remember that day perfectly. And then shortly after, in August of '88, we had the first RJam. Okay, RJam, we brought back the likes of Maria Cafra. I mean, Resty put the band together again. We had Coco Jam. We had... you remember the band of Arnold Halyores? Shucks, they were the '80s metal band. I forget the name, but you had 6 bands. Okay, so that was my first stint as a host for a rock concert.
Where was it?
Warhead.
Warhead. Warhead.
Fuck, you remember them?
Dude,
they were pretty awesome. They were pretty awesome.
Do you remember? I don't know if you remember from Antioch days. I don't know if you met him, Didoy Castañeda. His older brother was in Warhead.
Hey, sisters and brothers, I have a new sponsor, my friends Gary and Marilu from alkalinewatersogood.com. They are international Kangen water distributors. Kangen water is delicious water created from Enagic's innovative water technology. Enagic is 56-year-old Japanese company with 40 offices in 23 countries, including an office in Manila and 8 offices in the U.S. And it is the leading manufacturer of alkaline ionizers and water filtration machines in the world. Not only do these devices filter your tap water, but they also produce ionized alkaline and acidic waters through electrolysis. These waters can be used for various purposes, including drinking, cooking, beauty, and cleaning. Can you imagine never buying bottled water again? The plastic in bottled water often contains BPA and other chemicals which are proven to be hazardous to your health. And how much fun is it lugging cases of it from the market, recycling it, and you know, plastic is an environmental nightmare. According to Gary, it's also a great way to add an additional income stream. He's been selling machines for over 12 years internationally, and everyone needs the healthiest water in the world. So folks, if you have any questions about Kangen water, check out their website at alkalinewatersogood.com. That's alkalinewatersogood.com. Or you can email them at gary@garyballon.com. Gary Ballon with 2 L's.com.
Who older brother?
The Castaneda. Was there a Castaneda?
I don't remember Didoy. The only ones I remember from Warhead were Arnold.
No.
Okay.
Didoy was my friend, and his brother was in Warhead.
Yeah.
But
I don't remember a Castaneda from Warhead. The only ones I remember from Warhead were Arnold, who was also a DJ in RJAM. We called him the Wizard. Okay. And then the other guitarist, who's Rards Corpus, who works with Jaime Godinez. I don't know if he's still with Jaime Godinez in Soundcheck, the group of Jaime Godinez that supplies all this equipment, right? Rards was the other guitarist, and then their lead singer was Franklin. I don't remember his last name. Those 3 guys were the only ones I knew.
I remember a picture where one of them was wearing a cape with a guitar. Did they wear costumes? No, Warhead. No.
I don't remember, dude. I don't remember.
No?
That might have been the singer, see Franklin.
No, maybe. Well, anyway, yeah, Warhead. I recognize the name.
Yeah.
I remember. I can even picture in my head their cassette, Warhead.
Yeah.
Yeah, their cassette.
Oh man, they were heavy. I think they recorded their music on a 4-track on a 4-track deck, you know.
Wow,
but you know, it was what they had at the time, and not everybody was doing it yet. So it was music to the ears.
Where was it? Where was that?
The concert was at in Intramuros, Puerta del Parian. Okay, the Puertas, you know.
Yeah.
So it was like when you go there, it's like an amphitheater.
Yeah.
Right. So it was nice. And then we had a second RJAM too, and that's where R&R played for the first time.
Oh.
Okay. Which I remember the faces of Warren and George and GB. Tony wasn't with us anymore. GB, the bassist, they were looking around and said, "Man, who are all these people?" Because they were used to the Antioch crowd and to the Rumors crowd, you know. So who are all these people?
Those are the people, man.
They have long hair. Okay, the post hippies. Something of that. That's the crowd that was around back then during the first wave.
Yeah.
So that's my journey, man. I got into radio, and I was already in a band.
Were you already Charlie White? Were you already Charlie White?
No, not yet. The name I used in RJAM, and throughout I also went to RJFM. The name I used was Purple Haze. You know, not Purple Haze, but I made it into a name, Hayes, Haze, Purple Haze.
Haze, nice.
Yeah. So that's the name I used. When I finally went to NU, which was in 92, that's when I used Charlie Y.
Yeah, 92.
Yeah, and that's when the second wave was starting already. You already had your Nirvanas, your Soundgardens, Alice in Chains.
You know what?
Oh.
You know what, Pare?
Yeah.
This is not, this is nothing against NU107. I love them. They're all cool.
Yeah.
They did a lot for Wolfgang. But in the beginning, they didn't
Mm-hmm.
like us because we were too heavy for them. In the beginning, we
Really?
yeah, man. They wouldn't play us, man. They wouldn't
I
play us.
play. I played you guys all the
No,
time.
no, no. But before the first album came out, when we were still doing demos, we
Okay.
to
Okay.
LA 105. They were already playing us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then RT had already played our Darkness Fell video, but somehow NU they didn't want to touch us at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then I guess I don't know what happened. I guess we got too popular, quote unquote, too popular that they couldn't ignore us. And
Yeah.
it also helped that Charlie Y was a DJ in NU, pa, because you were I'm keeping it 100. You were the truest bluest rocker in that station.
Thank you, bro.
Because and also you were a little bit older than everybody else.
Yeah,
So
that's
you were
right.
experienced. You had the only other experienced guy there at the time were the two guys, the tall guy.
Jerry Driss. Jerry Driss was one.
Jerry Driss is the muscle guy, right?
No, 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 no. Muscle dude. I don't remember anybody with the muscles. Jerry was there from the very beginning. Okay. And then you had who are the other guys?
What's the station manager? The guy, the tall guy.
Station manager was Chris Cruz,
Yeah.
Chris Hermosissima.
Yeah, they're here.
Okay.
He
He wasn't very tall, but yeah, he was of good height. No.
Yeah.
So you had Chris.
I mean, tall against me.
Oh. Anyway, who else did we have? We had Myrene. We had Kathy. Later on, she became Roxy. Okay. And who were the
Marceline.
guys?
Remember
Marceline came later on. Marceline came in 96 already. I'm talking about 93, 94.
Yeah.
Because when I joined NU, it was 92. We were still in Solid Bank building in Makati.
Right. That's right.
Okay. And then in 93, I think they were kicking us out of there. So we moved to Ortigas Center. And there were hardly any buildings around. We were in Strata 200, which is now Strata 2000. Okay. Yeah, the station, the booth, the station where NU was is now, what's this 88.3 now? Man, mental block. Jam 88.3.
Jam 88.3.
That's where they are.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's where they are now. And they're playing, on Fridays, they play the stuff that we used to play in the NU days, which is nice. I listen to them on Fridays.
Yeah.
So Jerry was there. Okay, before I joined, you had Lee. You remember Lee, the Lee Laureano?
Lee, yeah, of course, Lee, yeah.
Lee, and she had a younger brother named Mark, who was also a DJ there. We went through so many DJs, man, but the ones I remember are Jerry, Pontree,
there.
Yeah. Mondo came much later.
Yeah, much later. Yeah.
Mondo came about 98 or 99, somewhere there.
Okay.
Into the 2000s already.
Right.
The tall guy you're probably talking about was Rolly Lucero, Zach. Okay, he was the drum.
No, not Zach. The one kanina. That was the guy I was talking about.
Jerry.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jerry Driss. Yeah. He's a pioneer, man. That guy's a pioneer.
Pontree is the muscle guy.
There you go. That's right.
Yeah,
That's right. Pontree. He's the workout dude. Pontree and I started on the exact same date. Okay, sometime in April 1992. Okay, we started on the same day, but he lasted all the way till NU went off the air. 2010.
I like that NU studio, man. It was dark. Remember?
Yes.
Was dark, right?
Yeah.
It was dark, man. So all you could see, all the lights that were in the booth were all the lights from the machine, from the computers. It was all, all these small little red lights. It was cool, man.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, it really set you in the mood. Man, if I may, I have a funny story to tell.
Yeah.
Two funny stories about NU. I can tell it today because it was so long ago. I was notorious. I was notorious for coming late for my slot. Okay, and usually I came after Myrene, and then I came after Kathy. Okay, in the afternoon because they were mid morning or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they complained to Chris. Chris, si Charlie is always late. And ganyan. So I was on board one day, and Chris comes in. Oh, Charlie, kamusta pare? I go, oh, okay lang. Anong balita? And he goes, pare, nagre-reklamo yung mga bata sa iyo, pare. Everybody aside from me were all considered bata. I was the matanda there, pare. Okay. So, pare, nagre-reklamo ang mga bata sa iyo. Lagi ka raw late. Oh, yeah, man, I'm really sorry. I'll do something about it. Okay, pare. Pero eto, he hands me an envelope. He goes, pare, graveyard ka muna. Oh shit!
Yeah.
Okay. It was just a directive to make me go on graveyard from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m.
Oh, damn.
Well, it was okay for me because we still had gigs at the time. The Breed had still had gigs at the time. So after the gig, I'd go straight to the station to do my board work, right? And from 2 to 6 in the morning, you can practically play what you want.
Yeah.
Okay? Because there were hardly any commercials. All there was station ID and station events that you'd plug. Okay? So one night, okay, I was so damn sleepy, pare. Okay? This must have been past 3 a.m. I came from a gig. I was so damn sleepy. So it was, I even remember the time. It was 3:15. I go, shit, I have to doze off for a few minutes. So I chose one of the longest songs that we had. I chose one of the longest songs that we had. So I found Drown by Smashing Pumpkins.
Okay.
8 minutes plus. 8 minutes, I forget. What's that? 8 minutes plus. So I said, okay, this one's good. Okay. So I put it on. So I intro the song Drown by Smashing Pumpkins from the movie. I even forget the movie, what that was in. But anyway. So I go like, I put my fist on my cheek and I doze off for a while. Then I wake up, okay? It's quiet around the booth. I particularly remember the time when I put it on. It was 3:13 a.m. So I look around the booth and I said, where the fuck am I?
Yeah.
I'm in the booth. Why is it so quiet? Oh shit, I fell asleep. What time is it? Pare, 3:49.
Oh my God.
So for more than 30 minutes, dead air. Okay? Thank God it was that time in the morning. None of the bosses were listening. I walked out. Immediately I played a song. Okay? I didn't talk anymore. I just played a song. So I walked outside. I looked at the technician. He was fast asleep also. But,
my God.
So that was. Then that happened again another time, maybe a month later. But this time it wasn't as long. Okay, so I had dozed off for maybe 10 minutes. And when I woke up again, it was quiet. But then I saw the technician right in front of me with his arms crossed. And then just looking at me like that. I go, oh my God. You know? And then he goes, I was going to give you another minute. If you were still asleep, I would have woken you up.
Oh my God.
But the biggest trip was that first time when I fell asleep for over 30 minutes, man. Wow.
Man, that's
my radio life was nice. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
When are you retired from radio?
Yeah. NU was my last station.
Oh, okay.
I stopped going on the air late 97. Late 97.
Wow.
That was it. And then that was late 97, right? And then no, sorry. That was not my last station. After that, I went back to RJ because they had reformatted again. Okay, and then the ones taking over now were the daughters of RJ, and so they asked me if I wanted to. You know Bea Jacinto, right?
Yeah.
Okay, they had RJ TV. They had Intimate Session, which you guys were there, and I was the host. Remember?
Dude, that's one of our early public gigs, man.
Yes, yes. So I worked with Bea then, and then after I left NU, she called me and she said, "Charlie, you want to come back to the station? We need a program director." I go, "Perfect," So I went back, and at the time, they changed their name to the Hive. The Hive. We all had names of insects, Harry Hornet. I was Superfly. I was Charlie Y Superfly. Yeah, and we had Jimmy Cricket.
Didn't Tirso have a slot there too?
No, Tirso had a slot in RT. RT, because at the time he was still with Katrina, right?
But no. But when you were in the Hive, because I remember the Hive, did I ever guest with you in the Hive?
Not with me. Maybe later on. Maybe Tirso had a slot later on. I'm not sure now.
A slot, but for a while he was in the regular, because it was a Saturday. I remember I went there and we played records with Tirso on a Saturday, on the Hive.
Okay, that must have been when I left, because I only lasted with them 6 months, 6 to 7 months.
Okay.
Okay, so that was my last stint in radio, which lasted till late 99. Okay, late 99, that was the last time I went on the air. And then the next time was 2009. Jaime Lontoc and I were asked to guest in RJUR, okay,
UR.
which is UR. You remember? I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
RJUR had a tribute to Woodstock, because it was the 40 years of Woodstock in 2009.
Right.
So we went on the air, and I said, "Jaime, this is my first time in 10 years, but I don't know what the hell to do." Buti na lang the technician was there to help me out. So what I did is I just talked on the air, and I was interviewed also by the station manager at the time. So that's my radio life.
Do you miss it?
At times I do, because there's nothing like playing what you want and then telling the people what it is.
Yeah, man. It's a rap,
I mean, here's a song. Like whenever I'm part of this Facebook group, and it's a music group, they ask me, "Who are your top 10 favorite guitarists?" Nobody. I have not seen a list of with the name of the guitarist of the Knack. Remember the Knack, My Sharona, right?
Yeah, man. That guitar,
the name,
My Sharona.
Yeah, and man, when I first heard that vinyl, which I still have today, I played all the songs and I go, "Shit, man, this sounds so good." Okay, I really like the guitarist. His name is Burton Avere. Okay, and he's one of my favorite guitarists of all time.
Wow.
I don't see his name in any list, in any guitar player, in any guitar world. Because
the Knack was not known for their. I mean, when you get over the fact that My Sharona's a really cool song, and you listen to the music, the playing, it's really good, man. Even his guitar sound is awesome.
Exactly. And I mean, you should listen to the whole album. The whole Get the Knack, the first album.
Yeah.
Listen to the whole album, buddy. They have a cover of a Buddy Holly song, and then they have a blues tinged song, which is galing, buddy. He used I don't know what year, but he used a Gibson Les Paul Custom, a Black Beauty.
Black Beauty.
So it sounds like it, man.
It sounds. The guitar sound of that song pretty much defined the guitar sound of the next 3 years after that.
That's right.
That's right. Before, I mean, in the rock side, in the rock side.
Because Get the Knack came out in 79. And so you had all these new wave bands from 79 to about 81, okay, that were guitar driven.
Yeah.
Okay. After that, in came the keyboards.
The keyboards,
Okay.
yeah.
I have nothing against keyboards, but I
Yeah.
still want to hear the sound of a guitar.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why the early 80s, the late 70s, the Knack, Rick Springfield,
Yeah.
early Bryan Adams, Romantic,
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And
And then you had this other group, the Vapors. Remember the
The
Vapors,
Vapors, yeah.
pare? Turning Japanese.
but the Vapors, they're considered Baduy here, pare.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
I mean, and then like Tom Petty, that's when
Yeah.
they started getting popular with those guitar songs.
Right.
It's a great
Tom,
segue.
Tom Petty is from the 70s
Yeah,
round.
it's a good segue that you said that, because I was gonna go into that. I was gonna go into top fucking 5 lists with you. So,
Okay. Sure.
yeah.
Sure.
So let's go. Let's. I mean, because I know that you're an all around kind of guy. You can appreciate everything in a band. You can appreciate the bass, the vocals, the drums in it. So
Yeah.
let's go one by one from your expertise as a singer. Who are your? Let's not say top 5, because I don't like categories.
Okay.
Let's say who
Okay.
are your influences? Who do you love?
Good idea. My son, who is an aspiring guitarist. Okay, I just bought him a guitar. It's an SG copy, but it's really nice. It's made by Gibson, but it's not a Gibson. But anyway, my son asked me the other day, "Pop, who is your Mount Rushmore for singers?" Okay, Mount Rushmore has 4, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's start with
That's a
Ian
good
Gillan.
stuff coming from your kid, pare.
I know. And he's into the rock scene. He's into the classic rock scene.
Nice.
Okay, he took his influence from me. And the way he dresses now, he likes tie-dye. His hair is long.
Nice.
Okay, he's not like the normal kid you see here.
Right.
So I told him, okay, if I have to choose 4, it's perfect, because I have 4 influences in vocals. Okay. Let's start with Ian Gillan. Okay, Ian Gillan is, man. When I first heard the intro of Smoke on the Water, I was captured. Okay, I said, man, this is the music I want to do. I want to listen to forever.
Wow.
Which I'm still listening to it today. Okay?
Yeah.
And then I hear Ian Gillan's vocals, so I researched more on Deep Purple. So he's one. Robert Plant, okay, has got to be another one, okay, because after Deep Purple, I got into Led Zeppelin. Okay, a lot of what the early Robert Plant does, I can't reach.
Yeah.
I can't reach that high, but
Yeah.
I do what I can. Okay, of the later days, I really dig David Lee Roth with Van Halen. David Lee Roth in Van Halen 1.
He is so
Van
under
Halen.
as a vocalist, man.
Yeah, he is. But he's amazing. Van Halen 1 alone. I can sing the whole album to you if you want.
Yeah, man.
My number 4 would be James Hetfield. Okay?
Oh,
I just love the way he does it.
dude, my God, pare.
Ibang
man.
klase si James
Ibang klase
James
si
Hetfield.
James, pare. Ibang klase si James Hetfield. Can you imagine, pare, on a tour, on a regular tour of Metallica, that's at least 250 shows, okay?
Yeah.
And they actually lessened that. So now they only, instead of 7 days a week of playing, they play 4 days a week.
Okay.
On a tour. Pero before it would be 6 days a week with one break. Can you imagine?
Okay.
So imagine doing that, singing like that, and playing the rhythm guitar of Metallica.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! Pare.
Not only rhythm, all those riffs. All those
riffs.
riffs that he does, pare. I mean,
when they do Creeping Death, Creeping Death, right?
yeah, of course.
The riff alone is just mind-boggling on a rhythm guitar standpoint. And then he's singing these lyrics about about Moses and the Black Death in Egypt. Man, yeah, dude.
You know what got me really into Metallica is the first four albums I didn't really pay attention to. You know, from Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, and Justice for All. I heard about them, but the one who was really into them was Francis Reyes.
Right.
Okay, and when he interviewed R&R back in '88, when we were playing in Rumors, we talked about we loved rock and all this, and then he listened to our set. We were playing A Flock of Seagulls, we were playing Rick Springfield, and we played some Whitesnake, and then he didn't really write a very good article about us, and then he mentioned Metallica. Have you heard Metallica? That to me is rock. Okay, sige, pare. And then later on, when the Black Album came into the picture, when I listened to Enter Sandman, I go, oh my God, this is it. Because I was already with Manny, I was already with Johnny, and we were searching for a sound. We were searching for a sound that we wanted to emulate. So I said, guys, this is it. Okay, so we did Enter Sandman as covers. We did Sad But True.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we did Nothing Else Matters. Those three songs.
Yeah.
And of course, the heaviness of Nirvana came into us also. We did Lithium. We did Breed, which was super heavy. I remember Breed. No? Yeah.
Oh man,
exactly.
Riff, dude. That riff is like killer, pare.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Let's not get too excited. Bass players, Mount Rushmore.
Bass players. My Mount Rushmore of bassists. Number one, this is going off axis a little bit, but the first guy that comes to my mind is Tommy Shannon of SRV. Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Double Trouble.
Okay. Oh. You bet, pare. The Double Trouble bassist. If you hear the song Scuttle Butting, okay, from the Couldn't Stand the Weather album,
right?
I think that's a bass song more than a guitar song. It's very short, but you can hear the soul of Tommy Shannon, and you can hear that sound of his P bass, dude. Amazing, amazing.
Like you said, if the rhythm section is fucking locked, and fucking those two Double Trouble, pare, they were fucking locked, man.
Yes.
And that's why Stevie Ray just fucking,
he could do what he wanted to do.
To the moon.
Yeah, exactly.
Gosh.
Exactly. So Tommy Shannon, I would say Geezer Butler would be another guy. Okay, because of the bottom end that he put together with Bill Ward. So that again, quoting a three-piece band, so that again Tony Iommi could do what he wanted to do.
What he wanted to do.
Yeah. Another guy. Bassists are hard, but I do have my favorites. Okay. John Entwistle of the Who, pare. I mean,
pare,
that is your epitome of a lead bassist.
Yes.
Okay.
And
I mean,
still,
he
and still hold it down.
Exactly. He did leads on that bass that you cannot imagine. Okay, can you imagine he was doing it in 1964, 1965?
Yeah, he was already shredding on the bass in 65.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And then for my Mount Rushmore, man, I would have to choose the progressive rock genre.
I know. I think I pick. No, I say it. No, you say it.
Take a guess, and I'll tell you if it's right or wrong.
Okay, prog, 70s prog.
70s prog.
Early 70s?
Not necessarily. Late 70s.
Late 70s. Okay, if it's late 70s, it's got to be Geddy Lee, pare.
No, not Geddy Lee. We're talking jazz, huh? Jazz.
Oh, jazz. Okay, I thought prog rock. Okay, no. Jazz.
Yeah. Take a guess, man. Who's the first one that comes into your mind when you talk jazz bassist?
Of course, Jacko, pare.
There you go. There you go.
Dude, have you seen the documentary Jacko?
No, no.
got-
Where?
I look for it on the internet. I don't know where it is.
Well, I have Netflix. Would you know if it's in Netflix? I'll look for it in Netflix.
I saw it was on Amazon when I saw it. So
Okay. I will look for that.
You have, oh my God, Jacko pare.
Yep. Jacko on that beat up jazz bass of his, pare. You know, I mean, those guys. You know.
Going back to John Entwistle, one of my favorite songs is "The Real Me," pare.
Oh yeah.
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
That's a bass solo song, pare.
Yes.
Oh,
In Quadrophenia.
Quadrophenia. It's one of my
Yeah.
favorite songs, not just because of the bass, but it's also one of the best drum tracks that Keith Moon ever played. If you get to listen to it again, listen to the drums there. Grabe. Grabe siya. Grabe si Keith Moon, man.
Yep.
Okay, since we're there, drummers.
Drummers.
Mount Rushmore.
Can I do a Mount Rushmore of foreign and of local?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be foreign, man.
All right. Let's go foreign first because I like a lot of drummers.
Yeah.
John Bonzo Bonham. Okay, he's got to be there.
Yep.
Number 2 would be Keith Moon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Keith Moon is another favorite. Okay, and Ian Pace.
Fuck
Ian
yeah.
Pace
Ian
of Deep Purple. Amazing guy. Amazing guy. I'm trying to think of late because I have a fourth, but I'm trying to think of the later groups.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll give you a number 4, and I'll give you an honorable mention. Pare.
Okay.
My number 4 would be Dave Grohl.
Nice.
Okay.
Of course.
Amazing drummer. You know, he's not as flashy as a lot of other people, but he's there. Okay, he's there.
Yeah.
Okay. My honorable mention would be Ginger Baker of Cream.
Right.
Okay, so those are my that's my Mount Rushmore of
Ginger Baker's such an
drums.
asshole, man.
He's what? He's
He's such an asshole. Dude, he's a jerk.
I heard stories.
Yeah, man. He also has a documentary. You should check it out, man. He's such an asshole. He was an asshole to the interviewer, man. It's like so funny.
Yeah, I know.
He's such an asshole that it's already funny. It's like, oh my God, this guy's, my God.
Yeah.
But what can you do? Ginger Baker, pare, di ba?
Yep.
Especially
Okay.
Ginger Baker when he teamed up with Fela Kuti. Do you know that stuff?
No, I don't know that.
Do you know Fela Kuti?
Not sure I do.
Fela Kuti is a African musician, and he pretty much invented the genre Afrobeat.
Okay.
And he recorded an album with Ginger Baker this was already after Cream, after Blind Faith.
Okay. Fela Kuti is a drummer?
No, Fela Kuti is he's a songwriter and he plays saxophone.
Okay.
African guy. I'm not sure
right.
if he's Nigerian or if he's from another place. But yeah.
Okay.
So the hardest of them all, guitarists.
Wait, okay. Before I get to that, I have my list of locals.
Okay.
Harley Alarcon. Okay, because he recorded our first album with us.
That's right.
That was Harley. Okay, because Larry was not back yet, and Benji Santos had just left.
That's right.
Okay. Harley. I would put Benji Santos as one of my favorite drummers here. Okay, Benji is from the Jerks.
The Jerks,
okay?
yeah.
And then he went to us for a while.
Yeah.
He's the drummer with us on the poster of the first album.
Did he play with South Border too? No.
He probably did one time or another.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My third would be. Wait, let me think because there's so many drummers also that I like. Okay, Baguettes. There you go.
Yes.
Baguettes.
He's now
Benji. He's what? And now he's a monk, right? He's a Buddhist monk. Is
No,
he?
no.
No, not
No, he's Muslim. No, he's Muhammad.
Muslim. Yes, Mohammed. Correct.
Yeah.
Baguettes. Benji Mendez.
Yeah.
Okay. And my number 4 would be the guy I'm talking to right now.
Oh shit, man.
Fuck yeah, man. Hell yeah. Man, that floor that you put under Wolfgang, okay? That floor that everybody was stepping on. It's got to be one of the most solid floors I ever heard here.
Oh, thanks, man.
No, really. I kid you not, dude. I kid you not. You're not. I remember watching you guys, okay, in you remember the place of Ricky Cui in Alabang, Bottom Line?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys were playing there and you played Whole Lotta Love.
Yeah.
Okay. This is still the original Wolfgang. And in the middle, you let Manuel do his thing with the guitar and all that, and you just held the rhythm there. You didn't have to do everything that Bonzo was doing, pare.
Yeah.
Which was not important.
Yeah.
Okay? What was important is keeping the song together. And you did that. So, there you go.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that, dude. That's sweet.
Yeah,
Thanks,
that's
man.
true.
Well, I mean,
All right.
and it's also because all of those drummers that you mentioned, I'm just emulating them.
Yeah,
And the way how they carry the song. It's like there's something when I listen to classic rock, especially those bands, it's really the rhythm section that I'm listening to. Because the guitarists, yeah, they're great. They're all good. But there's that air of competition, between guitarists. There's always that competition. Whereas the rhythm section, there's no competition because your mission is to keep the song together.
That's right.
What I learned more than just as much as the playing side of it was these drummers are carrying the song with the bass player. They're the rhythm section. That's old school rhythm section stuff, So that's why. Well, thank you, man. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome, buddy. Now for the hardest category of all, the guitarists.
Yeah, guitarists. You can go local, man.
I'm gonna have to name more than 5, buddy. Okay.
You can go local too.
Okay. Number 1 would definitely be Jimi Hendrix. Okay. He's the guy I really listened to first. And I said, because of this guy, I want to pick up a guitar. Okay. I can't play like him, nowhere near. Okay. Number 2 would be Jimmy Page. Okay. Jimmy Page, I can even, in the not so distant future, I can even see myself emulating somewhat. Okay, because his licks were easier. They're not as wild as Hendrix. Okay, so Jimmy Page would be number 2. Number 3 would be Eric Clapton. Of course, he's got to be in there. Okay. 4, slow hand. 4 would be Carlos Santana.
Idol ko yan, dude.
Yes, sir. Of all the guitarists I mentioned so far, he's the only one I met when he came here.
Yeah, I met him too.
I made it. You did? Where?
Yeah,
Backstage?
in the press con in Manila Hotel.
Okay. I insisted to go backstage. I talked to Danny Vitan, who was supplying the equipment for Totoy Boogie, and he said, eto, kausapin natin si Totoy Boogie. So he brought us backstage. I was with Manny. I was with 2 other friends, okay? And we all met him. And I had him sign a CD cover and a magazine, a Guitar World. And then when he signed when he was about to sign the magazine article, he goes, "What's this?" This is the article where you mentioned that you were with John Lee Hooker. And then somebody else called you and said, you recorded The Healer with John Lee Hooker.
I love that.
That song is amazing.
Yeah.
And then there was this guitarist, I forget who it was. It might have been Lonnie Mack or Phil Kiyagi. A popular guitarist went to him called him and said, you know what? I saw you playing the healer with John Lee Hooker on TV, and I was ready to slash my wrists, man. Yeah, and he said, but when I saw you playing with John Lee Hooker, you are the healer, man. You are the
was
healer.
literally about to slash his wrist.
Yeah, yeah.
Holy fuck!
You are the healer, and I wanted to live. You made me live. Thank you so much. Pucha, when I read that article, I go, my God, the impact that Santana, because I was always a Santana fan from the late 70s.
Dude.
But when I read that article, he just catapulted to the top spot for me. So he's got to be in there, pare. And his style of playing is...
Since we're on there, I got to show you something. So you know how serious I am with Santana, pare.
Sure.
Hey.
Oh my God, I can imagine what this is.
Did you see it?
Whoa.
You see it?
Whoa, man. What's what is it riding on? That's from what?
That's Abrahas.
Abraxas.
Yeah.
Or Abrahas, whatever you call it. That's
yeah.
right.
That's a conga.
right.
That's a conga. A conga.
Yes. Okay. Wow, man.
I got that tattoo because the sponsor of the show was RT. So Tirso was still with his Tuason with Cats
Girlfriend at the time. Yeah.
And so he hooked me up with the press con in Manila Hotel. He goes, Santana's here, you can come, I'll let you in, but you gotta come now. Dude, it was a Sunday in Manila, and at that time there was no traffic on Sundays.
Yeah.
Dude, I fucking drove, I think from Pasig all the way to Manila Hotel, pare. Tao pa. Dude, and then I get there, so press conference, and then I asked him a question. It was a stupid fucking question. I was so nervous, man. I think, I remember the question. I was like, do you have any plans of recording with Michael Shreve again? That was my question.
Yes.
Drummer. He goes, well, it was kind of a vague answer. But anyway, what I did after was, so I got this tattoo knowing that I was going to go in that press con. So my plan was, I'm going to get the tattoo and I'm going to show it to him. That's my plan. So when he got up after the press con, it was him and his manager. They were walking out. I actually met him before the press con, before he got into the room. Tirso introduced me. And Santana's like, he's tall. He's like 5'10" or something.
Yeah, right.
And then he looks down at me and he goes, Tirso goes, this is Wolf. He's a big fan of yours. Like, and then he gets my face like this, and he goes, I love you, Wolf. And then I'm like starstruck. I'm like, I love you too. I love you. I love you.
Yeah, wow. I know the feeling, man.
God. I was like,
I
love you so much, man. But then I didn't show him the tattoo yet. I wanted to show him after because I didn't want to bother. So when work was done, he was being escorted out. I go, and then he was already signing. There were a couple of guys with guitars. He was signing their guitars, and I go up to him again. I go, it's like, Carlos, I want to show you how much I love you. It's like, I love you too, man. It's like, no, you don't get it, man. You don't get it. I turned around. I lift up my shirt. Because he was being pushed out of the room already because it was a mob already, you know.
Yeah.
Him and the manager, they stopped right away. They're like, whoa! They stopped in their tracks, man. And I go, and then he's looking at the thing that you just saw. Yeah. And then I gave him a Sharpie. I go, can you please sign it? He's like, yeah. Then he signed his name on my back. And then his manager was like, "Oh, that's a real fan right there, man." And then I could see all flashes. So it's my life mission. It's my life's mission to find out whoever took a picture of that, if there's a picture of it in existence, of Santana signing my back, because there were cameras going off, like many. And anyway, so the plan was I was supposed to get it tattooed over in Paco with the tattoo artist. He passed away last year. But
his name escapes me.
The original guys, you know.
Yeah.
And but the same night, Lee Laureano
Yeah.
calls Wally Chamse and says, Jason Newsted is in town and he's in club. They're gonna open Club Dread and he wants to jam. You remember that night?
Yeah, I remember that. I wasn't there though, but I remember that. Yeah.
That was the same day as Carlos Santana's press con. So
okay.
I was like, but I want to get this tattooed. It's like, no, you got to come now. So instead of getting Carlos's signature tattooed on my back, I went to the Newstead gig in Club Dread. And of course, we played with Newstead. We played 2 songs, just jamming, 2 songs. So by the time I was done, wala na. The signature was washed away from the sweat.
Yeah.
But then I was like, well, I got to jam with Jason Newsted, so it's fine. But I mean, that's my story, man.
Yeah.
Do you have an honorable mention?
Okay.
Local dudes, man.
No, I have. They're not honorable mentions. They've got to be part of the top 10.
Right.
Eddie Van Halen. Holy Moses, man. How can I not put Eddie Van Halen there?
Yeah.
Okay. That's number 6. Number 7 would be the guy I mentioned earlier, Berta Navere from the Knack.
Mm-hmm.
All right. He would be number 7. Number 8. There's this other American dude that I forgot. I would have mentioned it. But anyway, let's go with the local. 7 is good for the U.S. The local would be Rene Garcia, okay, of Hot Dog, because
good. I never saw him play, dude. I never saw Hot Dog.
Man, he had a style all his own.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw him in the early days in 1977. I was a 16-year-old kid in LaSalle Green Hills. I was fourth year high school. Hot Dog played in one of the events in the auditorium.
Mm.
And I only knew Hot Dog at the time. I didn't know them as Red Fox because I was such a kid at the time. But I only knew them as Hot Dog. And he had a Gibson Les Paul Gold Top. Now I know what it is. Back then I didn't know what it was.
Right.
And it was plugged, I think, into a twin reverb. But what he was playing, man, he was playing the intro to... No, he didn't play the intro to You Really Got Me of Van Halen. But he played intros to songs that I was listening to at the time. I think he played the intro to Jumping Jack Flash. And I said, Hot Dog can do this? And then he was doing his solos. No finger tapping, no Van Halen stuff. But he had his own. And his sound was amazing.
Really?
So he got me on, he got me on that date, on that day. Okay? And then when the Breed was starting, he helped us out. He would play with us in our live gigs. He taught Manny how to play Satch Boogie of Joe Satriani.
Wow.
He could do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He could do that. So Rene is up there for me.
Wow.
The next local guy would be Wally Gonzalez. Okay? Wally is just there. He'll just ask, anong kanta? Anong key? And then he just put in his voice on his guitar. Yeah, I mean, you knew it was him. Okay?
Yep.
My last one would have to be my comrade Manny Amador. Okay? I mean, being on stage with him was an experience. I will never experience that again. Never will I experience that. Watching him, hearing his sheer volume, okay, watching him do what he did with his guitar, and watching him break the strings on every set, okay, and me have to talk in between songs. He goes, talk. I have to change the string. Oh my God, man.
Yeah.
I go, dude. Treat your guitar like a lady. I used to tell him back in the day, treat your guitar like a lady. Don't treat it like a piece of shit. You know what I mean? But, Manny was Manny, pare. So he did what he had to do. There you go.
I have going back to Wally. I just wanna, because Juan de la Cruz, they played here in the States.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
A tour. Maybe, oh gosh, that was a long time already. And Three Three-Headed Dog, we opened for them in San Diego and LA. And the gig in San Diego was this small diner style bar, dive bar diner. Small lang. What they're used to playing in Manila. You know?
Okay.
So the band was Pepe Smith, Wally Gonzalez, Mike Hanopol, and then Nides Aranza Mendez, the drummer of Session, the live album.
Yeah.
He was, because he lives here in the States now, so they got him for the US tour.
Who played the bass?
Mike Hanopol.
He did. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sige.
Dude, that was the first time I ever saw Juan de la Cruz, pare. And
Really?
they were one of the heaviest band I have ever watched in my life. They were so heavy. They were so goddamn heavy. This drummer, Nides Aranza Mendez. Oh my God. This guy's probably in his 70s already, but goddamn, man. Goddamn.
I can imagine.
Goddamn, the Pusher, man. I have never seen such a heavy. They are the heaviest Filipino band I have ever seen. More heavy than Wolfgang, than Razorback, than any metal band in the Philippines. Juan de la Cruz is the fuck shit, pare.
They were from the era of the real deal. You know what I mean?
Real deal.
They are the real deal. But how else can you describe them?
We were there, and it was everyone. There was hardly anyone in that show because it was San Diego. Not a lot of Filipinos in that area. The show in LA was more people. So it was just us. It was an intimate gig, and we were like, me and Dave, like, God damn, it's Juan de la Cruz, man. It's Juan de la Cruz. How lucky are we to have seen this band before Pepe passed away, you know?
Yeah.
And like I said, I think Juan de la Cruz is the heaviest Filipino band there ever was. I think, man,
they influenced almost everybody. Okay, I mean, their contemporaries were Maria Cafra, which was not as heavy. They were more into the rock and roll thing. Okay, and then you had bands like, back in the day, Sina Rene, Red Fox, and then before, you remember Circus Band? Okay,
yeah, I heard of them.
Circus Band had their bassist Paco Gamboa, who played for me for a few years in the early 2000s. They had a band, and their singer was Pabs Dadibas.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't remember. What was their name? Something Unknown. Parang Classic Unknown.
Okay.
But before they formed, not Super Unknown. Super Unknown is an album of Soundgarden, right?
Yeah.
Basta Something Unknown. They were during the time of Red Fox. Red Fox was known to be Rolling Stones emulating band. These guys did Grand Funk Railroad.
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I'm Your Captain and all that stuff. Way before we're an American band. The early Grand Funk.
Early Grand Funk.
Yeah. That's the name. That's the name of the band. Something Unknown. Pabs Dadibas was the singer. Paco Gamboa was the bassist. And then, if I am not mistaken, Walter Kalinawan, the drummer also of Circus Band, was the drummer who had also passed. See, Walter has passed already. I forget who the guitarist was. Who the guitarist was.
I mean, that's why I started this podcast also, so I can hear stories like these, man. Because,
Good idea.
Because
Good idea.
Now I regret not seeing Rene Garcia. Now that because I know your taste, I trust that when you say he was fucking good, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I think these people and you as well and everyone I'm interviewing, that's why I want to do this. And I especially been doing interviews with the DJs, with you, Bob Magoo, Jaime, and the doctor. Because you're just as equally as important as the music, because you are delivering the music.
That's right. That is so right. To add to what you just said, Crosby, Stills, and Nash came here in 2015.
Right.
Was it 2015 or 2016?
Mm-hmm.
So the producer of the show was René de Guia of Ovation Productions.
Yeah.
So I asked him if I could go backstage and meet Crosby, Stills, and Nash. And he said, Pare, come, because I am asking all the DJs to come back and meet them. Because René de Guia was a DJ himself back in RJAM, back in the early 70s. He started as a DJ when he was still in UST.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And from there, the rest is history. He started producing concerts, and then he had his own brand, Ovation. Okay.
Ovation, yeah.
Ovation, and he had. Remember when we were still
top 40.
Top 40 apparel. Okay, and then there was Pop Station, the record bar, if you remember that.
Right.
The competitor of Odyssey.
Yeah.
But anyway. So René said, sige pare, join us back here because there are other DJs here. Ramon was there, the Doctor, Bob Magoo was there, the RJ guys. Okay, Bob Magoo, Cousin Hoagie. Okay, you had Mike Llamas, Stony Burke.
Stony Burke, yeah.
Okay, and so you had, we were 6 DJs. Okay, Hoagie, 6 or 5? No, 5. Me, Ramon, Bob Magoo, Cousin Hoagie, and Stony Burke, okay? So we were all RJ DJs once upon a time. So when they finally came into the dressing room, it was Graham Nash first, and then Stephen Stills, and then David Crosby.
Nice.
Graham Nash immediately came to us, all of us, all 5 of us. He goes, "Thank you for playing our music here.
Wow.
Thank you for making us what we are here." Super nice guy, pal.
Yeah,
Super nice guy. So I mean that's related to what you just said. If not for the DJs from before, and till the end of NU 107, and even now for Jam 88.3, we wouldn't know all these classic acts.
Yeah.
That gave us our influences.
Yeah, man. I mean, DJs to me, I think nowadays DJs are not as popular.
Yeah.
Because
radio DJs,
yeah. Just because not as many people listen to the radio anymore. They don't really care because they can do it on Spotify. You can listen to anything you want.
Yeah.
But for someone like me, I grew up with DJs, man. I grew up with fucking Jeremiah Jr., Vincent Price.
Exactly.
And then I even nabutan ko si Bob Magoo, man. I mean, and then the thing is, they had all these cool names.
Yes.
All the it's like now it's all DJ Ann, DJ Shirley, DJ Tony. It's like, dude, come on, man.
They lost the fire in the names.
Fire, man. It's like, what do you want? What is your identity, man?
Exactly. Exactly. And even when I was still in radio, you had in NU 107, you had people coming in there with just using their first names as on-air names, as what did you call it? Not handle. Handle is for CB. On-air name, okay?
Yeah, on-air, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like me,
I don't know.
something like that, okay?
Yeah.
I forget the term. But anyway, look at Ramon. Ramon is the Doctor. There's character there. You had Bob Magoo. Okay, you knew it was an air name. Okay.
Yeah.
What was Jaime? Later on, he was the Gaucho. And then in the early days, he was Big Jim. Okay.
Yeah.
And even in the early days of RJ, you had Charlie Brown. Okay, who thought of the name Pinoy Rock and Rhythm? It was him, Emil Quinto.
Wow.
That was his real name. He passed away already.
Uh-huh.
Emil Quinto. He was in RJ since the late 60s. And then you had names like Double A, Alan Ostler.
Double A,
right?
yeah.
Bob Magoo. There's Howlin' Dave. You had the Madman. You had the Mystery Man. Pare, who are these guys? Never mind who they were in real life, but you painted a picture of what they were, of who they were. You imagine in their head, like if you think of Bob Magoo. Now that I think of it, pare, when I first met Bob Magoo, he was probably the closest look I had to a DJ imagination.
Oh, really?
I never thought Howlin' Dave would look like what he was.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, right.
I never thought Jeremiah Jr., pare, who's a good friend of mine, by the way.
Yeah.
I never thought he was who he was. I thought he was this big dude, okay, who had the big voice. Pare.
Me too.
And then
this
here
little
comes.
I'm like, dude, because I met him once.
Okay.
And then of course I got starstruck because when he started talking, I was like, "Oh, you're the guy in the radio when I was a kid, man."
Yeah, exactly.
I got all
Exactly.
But
So
then
in comes this guy.
small guy with a big voice. I'm like, wow, cool,
Yeah.
man.
In comes this guy. Oh, this is Jeremiah Jr., by the way. I was looking at taller than him. Then I had to look down because he's like 5'1", something like that.
Yeah. But man, yeah, he was like, he had the voice, his big voice,
Oh yeah. Vince St. Price also, another friend of mine. See Vince.
Vince, yeah, I know Vince too.
Eric Kane. He had the names like Eric Kane.
Oh,
Johnny Cesar.
My one of my favorites, not as a DJ, but his call sign is the Ghost.
Oh.
Si Manolet.
Yes, si Manolet.
The ghost with the most. I'm like, takina, cool.
Yeah. Si Manolet pa.
The ghost with the most.
Yep. And then nowadays you have DJ ganito, like you said, DJ. I mean, I listen to her every day, okay? And she looks damn good too. Her name is DJ Jamie of RJ. She's Drive Time. She's the Drive Time announcer.
Okay.
She looks really good, super cute lady, and really nice too. DJ Jamie. But to me, she could have thought of a better name.
There's no mystery.
Again, there's no mystery. You're right.
I'm DJ Shadow Boxer. Like, whoa, why?
Yeah, I know.
That's the thing. That's the thing with the DJ names. It's like when I first heard Bob Magoo, it's like, why is he Bob Magoo? There's the mysteries right there with his name. It's like, why did he? For me, that's how I'm nerdy with that kind of stuff. It's like, why did he name himself Bob Magoo? I guess he's Albert, but why the Magoo? Does he
in the early days of RJ? I'm talking RJ because they had the coolest names. You had a guy by the name of Captain Hook. But this was way early, maybe 69, 70. We're talking like that. And then if you had a cool name already, then you can use it.
Right.
Like, for example, they had a DJ named Jake Taylor, but that was his real name, Jake Taylor. I met him about 2 years ago. And then Hoagie Pardo, okay, cousin Hoagie.
Yeah. Cousin Hoagie.
Yeah. That was a cool name right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Dante David. His last name was David, so Howlin' Dave.
Howlin' Dave, with my first band Hysteria with Edmond, we were in RJ Junior Jam.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Saturday afternoon, and Howlin' Dave was the host, and it took a liking to us because we were playing the heavier stuff of that time, Def Leppard, White Snake.
Yes,
and then he would when he would get used to us, okay, Hysteria's playing again, so he would make our intro like he was introing us in fucking Wembley Stadium, And it was just friends in front of us. He was like, "Ladies and gentlemen, from Manila, please welcome Hysteria." And all our friends like, "Woohoo, yay!" But
that's one of the things.
Like, holy shit, that felt good.
Yeah. That's one of the things he taught me, pare, because the guys who trained me in RJ were the Doctor, okay, Bob Magoo, Howlin' Dave, and do you remember Baba Balse?
Oh yeah, Baba,
November 27. That was her air name, November 27, because she had the same birthday as Jimi Hendrix. So anyway,
nice.
Dante, Howlin' Dave, comes into the booth one time. He goes, "Pare, here's a tip I will give you, okay? So that it inspires you. Once you open that microphone, once you turn that microphone on, think that you're talking to 100,000 people, okay? Not just to one or not just to a handful.
Yeah.
Think that you're talking to the whole country." Man, that really helped me. That
Yeah.
really helped me. So that's what he did when he introduced you guys. He thought that he was talking to a whole stadium, pare.
Yeah, it
Look at
felt like it. I was like, why is he? Why? I mean, it was the first time that I felt like, wow, this guy who doesn't know me is excited about me. It felt good, you know. He made me feel, you know,
Yeah, he gave you guys the inspiration for that
Yeah.
particular gig.
the confidence, yeah, and the inspiration.
Yeah.
All right, so before we end, I want to tell you a story.
Cool.
Your 45 minutes turned into 2.5 hours, dude.
That's good.
very good.
It didn't feel like it at all. But anyway,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So anyway, this is about the breed, and my first and only acid trip.
Okay.
With LSD. Okay, Minko was your drummer at this time,
All right.
and it was already by this time. Yeah, Calio was still a little popular. It was still popular, but it was a kind of dead night on Wednesday. That particular night was kind of
Okay.
sparse, you know.
Okay.
So it was my first and only acid trip, and we started off in Pasay with the Coco Jam people, and they have a hangout there, the Bosch residents,
Okay. Yeah.
Pepito Bosch, and
Yeah.
so it was it was me and Kevin Roy, and Miguel Ortigas was our ninong. He was taking care of us, making sure we don't freak out, you know.
Yeah.
His brother Iñaki. So we start off in that house.
Iñaki was with you guys at the time?
He was with us. It was him and Miguel. They were taking care of me and Kevin.
Okay.
So we go to because I had a car, and you know I didn't want to drive on acid. So it's like, Iñaki, can you be my driver tonight? To, you know, whatever. So
Yeah.
so we start off in that house, and then everybody gets bored but me and Kevin are already tripping, so we're not bored. We're already tripping, but everyone else who is a little more sober than us are like, let's go. Time to go. It's 10:30. Let's go out. Who's playing? Wednesday, we're going to the Breed, Calle. And then me and Kevin were like, oh, we're going to watch the Breed right now. You know, 'cause we're starting to fly. We were starting to take off, man. Like, what, the Breed? Manny Amador right now? I don't know, man. Shit. He's like, Miguel, oh, okay lang yan. I'll take care of you guys. Let's go. So okay, we go to Cali, and you guys are playing already, man. And it was actually full on the side of the bar. You were guys were already playing at the far end. It wasn't here by the door. It was still at the far.
Okay.
And the side, the bar there was a lot of people at the bar, but the tables were a little empty. So I go to the bar, and my hair's down. I still had long hair, and dude, I was already tripping, Pat. I was already fucking going out of my mind. So I'm like, there's so many people, and then you guys are playing, and then we sit down. We get a table. We sit down. Miguel, me, Kevin, and you're playing, dude. And I'm like, I'm hanging on to the chair for dear life, dude. Because it's the Breed. It's the volume of Manny Amador. And I'm like, at the very least, I was in front of Johnny. So I wasn't getting the full Marshall stack.
Yeah, the full brunt of Manny. Yeah.
So, but I was hanging on for dear life, man. It felt like fucking wind was just, you know that ad of TDK, the guy in the
Yeah, exactly.
Like that. That was my feeling.
Or the first scene in Back to the Future. you know, when Marty McFly gets blown away by the okay.
Dude, I was like that, hanging on to those chairs in Cali, those big wooden chairs. I'm like, oh shit! I'm shouting, shit! And then the rest of the back, there was no one in the back. There's just one table here on the right. But every time when you would play, I would hear fucking the crowd noise of Wembley Stadium.
Really, man?
Behind me, I would hear it. I was already tripping now. I was starting to trip. So I would look behind. I would look, and there's nobody there. The rows behind us were empty. There's no one there. I'm like, oh shit, where the fuck? And then you guys are still playing loud, diba? And I remember Minko. He was playing his heart out, dude. Minko's a great.
yeah.
And then, and then I could hear it again. And then I would look back. Praning,
that's quite a trip, man.
Yeah,
that's
dude.
Quite a trip.
That was just the start, anyway. And then and then it would happen again when I would face you. Then I would look back. It's like, what the fuck is happening? And then I remember one guy in another table starting to get annoyed because I was looking back at nothing. So I was like, this goddamn fucking guy's crazy. It's like, no, I'm just on LSD, my friend. I'm sorry. But that's my story with the breed. That whole set, it was probably your second set of the night. The whole set, I was hanging on for dear life. I'm like, and I couldn't leave. Because I was stuck in there.
Yeah.
And on the chair. And then finally, you guys stop your set, break. And then in Cali, the break, everyone goes out into the street, right?
That's right.
And then that's when the tripping started to continue. I'm like, and then fucking Johnny comes out, and then I think he goes, balita ko may naka-acid dito, and then I start smiling at him. It's like, tangina mo, pare, nakingit ka, pare. And then the trip happened, but that's my story. My first and only acid trip. I'm
glad we gave you a good trip, pare.
Yeah, dude. It was amazing, man. I have never felt that intensity ever. I mean,
good, that's good.
I've never had anything stronger than LSD, But
yeah.
Yes, man. I mean, so that's my breed story. So
great.
Thanks, Charlie. And
anytime, bro. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure recounting all those wonderful years.
What's your jersey? Is that Lazio?
Actually, I don't know.
You don't know? Who is that?
Is that the one?
Yeah, I think that's Lazio. That's Italian.
Yeah. All right. These were given to me by my nephew, pare. So.
Oh, so he's the football fan, I guess.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, anyway, Charlie Y, ladies and gentlemen, WDRS Talk, Charlie Y, one of the great singers of Pinoy rock and one of the great DJs of Pinoy radio. Such a pleasure, man.
Thanks a lot, buddy. It's been great talking to you. I'll catch you soon, okay?
Take care, man. Once you get that fucking vaccine, get it, man.
Oh, yes, definitely.
For sure.
Thanks a lot, Wolf, pare. You take care and stay safe, huh? Peace, brother.
Peace, man.
Right. Bye.
Charlie.
Thank you.
Bye.